Do we cover Donald Trump's or do we cover Biden's? What do you guys think?
You can leave. Run away.
Crafting. Zoomers LU, are you sure you want saving
Terrible,
world?
terrible, terrible.
Ty-
Oh god, when we were walking one of the times she tried
You gnome
like a man starved for
This
love
took me 3 hours to make.
offers
What
to
do you
pay for
think?
everything. Yeah, of course I'm gonna pay for things. What the fuck? It's because I'm wealthy as fuck. Why would I not do that? Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Did you say you wanted more than friends with benefits? I mean, like, I always want, like, I've already explained this a million times. Like, I typically won't just see somebody, fuck them, and never talk to them again. So usually what I want is, like, more than, like, a friends with benefits. Like, I usually want somebody that I can, like, chill with or talk to or whatever. But I'm not, like, dating multiple people. I'm not quite at, like, that level where I'm, like, dating everybody. But I don't know, whatever.
Worse in Europe at the moment, it doesn't really matter. And, like, he didn't ban a lot, like, the Asian countries, really. He just banned Europe because he was like, fuck you. So if he just come there and be like, yeah, I've been here for a very long time.
What the fuck is this fucking picture? Holy shit. I'm sorry. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Jesus. Oh, sorry. Holy fuck. I wasn't even looking at this clip at all. I'm sorry. 1 second. Oh my god.
Fucking dubstep.
I don't think I can
Did
show this
someone
picture on
say
stream.
Twitch Prime?
Oh, I'll link in a DGG chat, I guess. What the fuck? I'm so sorry. Okay, hold on. Let me open my YouTube chat. I'm not watching you guys at all right now. Sorry, hold on.
Because he was like, fuck you. So if he just come there and be like, yeah, I've been here for
Oh my
a very long time.
god.
Then
What
it
the
should
fuck?
be okay. But like if they would be like no, that would suck, of course. How are you doing, lovely? Good. I've had 2 nights of full sleep. So
What the fuck?
I'm there and be like, yeah, I've been here for ban Europe because he was like, fuck you.
I think, are these called orb spiders? Orb weavers? Is she alive?
So if you just come there and be like, yeah, I've been here for a very long time, then it should be okay. But like if they would be like no, that would suck, of course. How are you doing, lovely? Good. I've had 2 nights of full sleep. So then you can come to us.
What happens
I don't
next?
think he cares. Yeah, I don't think he gives a shit. Like, America's worse than Europe at the moment, so it doesn't really matter. And like, he didn't ban a lot, like the Asian countries, really. He just banned Europe because he was like, fuck you. So if you just come there and be like, yeah, I've been here for a very long time, then it should be okay. But like if they would be like no, that would suck, of course. Rating lovely, good.
She never acknowledges it? Is this just is this just like living in her body now? Ugh. That thing was huge. The third community Instagram was a one of a kind. Oh shit. Okay. Community one of a kind. We're committed to some blah 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 blah. That might mention about a development change we're making for StarCraft so we continue supporting long term. As many of you know, Blizzard continues updating its game long after the initial release. Some of you remember that we actively patched the original Striker about 10 years ago. Celebrate 10 years Striker 2 with one of our large players. We updates. Going to continue Striker 2. The same amount we have for previous core. This means we're not going to be producing additional content for purchase content such as commanders and war chests, but we'll continue doing season rules and necessary balance. On the last note, we're not playing a Q4 balance update. Even we did one a few months ago, but it's always going to. Gotcha. Okay.
It's pregnant? No way. Burn it?
Wait, is that the spider?
The guy that killed another spider. Maybe I'm like cursed or something.
Oh my
Damn,
god!
is it like around here? It's tiny. No, that one's pretty big. Where I wonder where it came from. Probably like when I was walking around here or something. If you weren't streaming, you'd never know. Oh, we're streaming. Oh, I wonder how
Oh wait, this was the same spider and she released it.
often does it happen to you guys? Do you guys have spiders on you? What if it already did me? I'm gonna be like, hey guys, let's climb up to everything.
Melina's a warrior. This is one of my biggest. Here we go. Spoiler alert. One of my biggest turn-offs/turn-ons for women. Okay, this is gonna sound so stupid. Okay, but if you've ever dealt with women before, you know. Okay, you know. I don't know what it is. Okay, there are so many women where you're like, it can be something as simple as you're traveling and you've got bags to move, or you go to the grocery store or whatever. When a woman just like picks up a bag to like carry it inside, that is like you automatically get like a fucking, like at a bare minimum, you're a 7 out of 10 in my book. Because I don't know what it is, but there are so many fucking women that are like, I can't carry anything. I can't pick up anything. I can't blah, blah, blah. I can't do any blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it is. But when I see somebody who's just like, and this is like a thing that I noticed, like, fuck, it's one of the first things I notice, where like any like woman that like I'm friends with for a long time is probably somebody that just will carry a bag. Now I'm not saying that I want you to carry all of my shit for me, or that I want to be like a little prince and you carry my shit. I'm just saying like, and I usually offer to carry stuff. Like I'll always offer to carry stuff at free house. But if you would just like pick a bag up, like carry it around, it's like, damn, good for you. Amen, brother. Key Biden alert, guys. Biden has dementia.
I'm just happy to be here with Joe. I wanted to come out and let the show on the girls back there. Wanted to make a surprise visit, and wanted to make sure that he understands that I'll always be there for you, anytime, anywhere, and at all times. Right now, it seems like I'm in two places at once. But the other thing I wanted to tell you was, if you're looking for a VP, I got some time on my hands.
All right, man. I'll tell you what, Barack.
I love this subreddit. Here's a random as fuck question. Does any? Oh, spooky spider. Okay. Donald's muted.
/raid. That's tiny.
I don't think they are.
Did someone say Twitch Prime?
What are you eating? I don't know. I got some chicken thing from Starbucks. Do you think, I'm just curious. I want to look this up.
World.
Dude, these Forsen clips have been killing me.
World
man.
name at loading 0%. Loading 2%. Loading
The one
20.
with a lot of
Loading
them in, yeah.
46%.
Big package.
Loading. Done. Save title screen.
That's tiny.
World.
Wowie.
Title. World name.
Where's the one where he gets to the nether in record time? Does anybody have this?
Wanna come out here?
Yeah. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. You don't wanna smoke, so ask for the chicken. I just made a big bag. I just brought a Bentley.
Fucking. Oh.
Zoomers LUN. Are you
Go on,
sure you saving world?
Thank you,
Title.
Steven.
World name
You
loading
hurrah.
0%.
You
Loading
hurrah.
2%. Loading
The one with
20.
a lot of
Loading
them in, yeah.
46%.
Big package.
Loading done.
Turned 25
Not this.
today
Save
feels
title
boom.
screen. Title world name loading
No.
0.
Arch enemies. It's gravity.
Might be this.
Crafting.
Yeah, now watch this fucking pace, bitch. Sub 5.
Zoomers LULW
Another
has
plus.
made the advancement you need to go deeper.
What the fuck?
Lines are going to be long and enduring, and there's definitely going to be like a
Okay. Will Nico actually talk on this podcast? Does she actually talk? I don't know if I've ever seen her talk on a podcast before. Let's find out.
kind of like whatever. So I'm gonna do my best to try to remember to like really keep that in mind. So
Good.
no,
Go ahead, Nico.
Am I going next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
yeah,
okay.
you got more. Go ahead.
So yeah, Trirex is really correct on that one. Like maybe the first hour you have like the social distancing. When the fact that some people have to wait so long in line is just like astounding to me. But that's like another topic. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be waiting so long, I definitely would have my AirPods with me because listening to YouTube or music.
I'm sure that there's a context for this. I'm sure that this is like it's designed to I just want to go to Georgia with all these poor fucks making $20,000 a year. Everybody, take out your iPods or your AirPods. But I'm being harsh. It's probably because this podcast is like designed towards like kids and stuff, and most people listening on Twitch probably would have like AirPods and shit. So it's probably like a fair statement to make. I'm sorry. That was really mean. I'm just being unnecessarily mean. Also, AirPods only last for like, I think 4 or 5 hours.
I'm a MAGA kid. I'm here to blow the liberals' lid. School shootings, pedophiles, and vaccines. Today it is really hard to be a teen. Now listen up, Greta. This message is for you. We are warriors of God, and we're praying for you. How dare you? How dare you? Spread fear with your ego, but the truth is where we go. Our human rights come from God, not government. Brainwashed puppet, you were sent. You liberals act really, really strange, but MAGA kids are now in the game.
Okay. Key Tom alert. Looking for to do a recording interview with a Trump-hating voter who has a bad case of TDS, but is pretty sure the problem is on my end. Oh! Ho, ho! Nobody will talk to me. We debated. We came out too strong, guys. This guy is delusional. That guy is legitimately fucking crazy. Crazier than probably anybody I've ever talked to on stream before. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Stop distracting me with this shit.
So I'm gonna raid Greek right now because I think he has a lot of good content, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. Because what he does is fresh, what he does is new. He doesn't just react to shit all the time like a dumbass. Content.
Yes.
You would really enjoy it because what he does is fresh, what he does is new. He doesn't just react to shit all the time like a dumbass.
Oh.
Do you
Why
think
does every blonde girl from the South make being a Republican their personality?
Do you think that Ludwig has streams open in the other monitor and then he does this intentionally? Do you think that's happening? Isn't that the second time this happened? No, this happened like 20 times on a stream, I think. I kind of wonder if he... Oh, what were we gonna do? Oh, I've got so much shit I want to go over today. Oh, all this Rooster Teeth shit. Holy fuck. Oh, we got album to listen to. Oh, I was gonna read this article. This is good. Grading is capitalist. Oh, somebody sent me this video. Oh, I've got my... Somebody did a giant polling thing on my subreddit. And then Rudy Giuliani had some shit going on. I want to do a Hunter Biden. I want to read about all this shit. We need to get a full grasp of this because I feel like this is going to be brought up a lot. Check out this Destiny. Dep20 made it. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. You're... Oh, wait. Did you already turn it on for me? Oh, no. Okay. We're meeting links.
How likely do you think this will end up like the 2000 election?
Right now, it doesn't seem that way. Assuming everything is about accurate, Trump is going to get ass blasted. Okay? Levels of ass blasting previously thought impossible. I don't fuck, I'm starting to not trust anything I see on the internet ever. The first thing that I wanted to check was God damn it. Where is the lay Reddit shit? Hold on. What do you think this might be different to 2016? Because the polling data is way different. What do you mean? Do you think this story is real? I'm really curious where the original article is this. So I didn't look into this at all. It might be. I'm just curious. Alex Smith insulin. The death of Alex Smith pushed Minnesota lawmakers. All right, let's find out. Snopes has a story on it. AP analysis published in late September 2018 warned that prescription drug prices are rising precipitously, despite President Trump's vow to reduce them during the first 7 months of the year. The report said human cost. When the local news reports, Alec Rashawn Smith's lifeless body was found in his apartment on the 27th of June 2017, 27 days after his coverage under his mother's health insurance policy of lapsed due to his age, caused with this diabetic ketoacidosis, a life-threatening complication of diabetes that occurs when the body produces excess blood acids called ketones because it lacks enough insulin. A piece contributed. Wait, is it all concerning to you that RCB has Trump 0.5 plus 0.5 in top battleground states compared to 2016? I mean, maybe in a few, but I don't think he has enough to win. Oh, sorry. Okay.
You gnome fuck!
L underscore L underscore L underscore. Wow, we two?
When you have diabetes, don't you normally check your blood sugar? Before you take it, or do you just take a daily? So what did he see that he was like? Is it hypoglycemic? And when the amount of glucose in your blood sugar is in excess of where it should be. So is he just noticing this and just doesn't do anything about it? I don't understand. This seems so crazy. You have to, but some people don't care. Insurance and everything related. Oh, hypo means low, hyper means high. So hyperglycemic, not hypoglycemic. I knew a guy who took blood sugar measurements every time he ate anything. Yeah, I think that's fairly common. Is you check your blood sugar after you eat or whatever to make sure that it's not. If you don't have money for insulin, there must be some way to get it, I would imagine, right? That is type 1? What do you mean, type 1 or type 2? The treatment is similar, and the cause of death will be similar as well. Type 2, you need less checking? It probably depends on how advanced your type 2 diabetes is, no? Like you have different levels of insulin resistance as you get further along in type 2 diabetes. If you're like pre-diabetic or you just hit it or whatever, then you're probably a little bit safer. But as you go on, I'm pretty sure the insulin resistance in your cells increases over more and more and more and more, right? Type 2 is just fucked up body. Type 1 is zero insulin. So type 2 is characterized by insulin resistance, meaning that you've had too much blood sugar in your body and your cells are becoming resistant to insulin. Type 1 diabetes means that the pancreatic cells are being attacked by your immune system and you can't produce insulin. I believe it's the difference between the two.
People that don't subscribe are beaters.
Friend calls a major drug company, I forgot which. He's pretty poor in the email and a coupon. You can take the pharmacy to pay for some scripts. Not sure. Yeah, damn. Everything is so complicated around medical. I don't understand it fully, and I consider myself to be fairly intelligent. But I remember because I signed up for 1 year for Obamacare. I got a healthcare plan off the exchange, and everything regarding medicine is so fucking complicated. Like, I wouldn't be able to do shit. I actually don't even know how to do shit. So like, I want to schedule a like if I wanted to schedule an ophthalmologist appointment, if I had questions about my eyes, I don't even know what I have to do. Like, I think I need like a hospital that I'm a member of, and then I need to see like a GP. Did they have to be like my primary physician? And then I get a referral from them to a other guy. I think, do I need to do all that? Can I just schedule an appointment directly with an ophthalmologist? Or can I do like anything? Can I just call one? Like some only work with referrals. Like all of it is so unbelievably complicated. Like, holy shit.
What odds would you give Trump to win right now?
I don't know, like 10% or 20% probably. Family doctor recommends you a glasses doctor. An ophthalmologist is a doctor that deals with eyes. An optometrist is somebody that you go to for a glasses prescription. I don't believe you probably mean an optometrist. I don't mean an optometrist. If I meant an optometrist, I would say an optometrist. You don't need a referral to go to Walmart and see an optometrist to measure your eyeballs for glasses. I'm talking about an ophthalmologist. I feel like I need to see like somebody that is a surgeon that also like studies eyes or whatever. I don't think you need a referral to go see somebody to go to fucking Prime Lenses or whatever to get glasses. Thoughts on people wanting the Dems to abandon the... Oh! Hot take! Sorry! this is you're here at the Republican arc, okay? Ready? This is me being a Republican, okay? I hate wasting time on dumb shit, okay? Amy is going to be confirmed. We already know that, okay? Listen. Supreme Court judges or people that are being nominated for the Supreme Court judge to be in the Supreme Court do not answer questions on hypothetical cases. You can ask one all you want. Would you make it so that a woman that gets an abortion is thrown in prison? And she's like, well, you know, I don't really know how it really... Oh, she said she doesn't know about abortion. That you don't answer questions on hypothetical cases. You don't answer questions on past cases. I'm pretty sure this is literally called the Ginsburg rule. That's it. You don't do it. You don't do it. Not only do you not do it, but you shouldn't do it. We should not be nominating. Why can't they answer? Because we shouldn't be nominating people based on how they would or wouldn't rule in a particular case. That's not what a nomination hearing is for. The nomination hearing is just to see, hey, are you qualified to be a justice? That's it. Not, what do you think about that? How are you going to rule on that? Blah, 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 blah. That's not what you're supposed to do. And full stop. So, I know that we post a video every time and I was like, oh, she didn't answer a question about... Yeah, no fucking shit, Sherlock. She's not supposed to answer the fucking question. A Supreme Court justice nominee is not going to sit there and rule on hypothetical fucking cases. It would be the dumbest fucking shit in the world. You don't do that. You're just not supposed to do that as a Supreme Court nominee. I'm a vet and TRICARE was so nice. I miss it big time. Way better than my Anthem PPO high plan. Medicare for all would be the best in my opinion. Cool. Too bad your whole opinion isn't valid because you spell your name Steven with a PH, which is incorrect.
Ophthalmologist. Ooh. Are the YouTube streams working out to your expectations?
Sure.
Do you see any growth potential?
Maybe, but the Dems should ask any way to make them pay a political price for the justice. I guess if you want, I don't know, but like everything is like... When people, the problem is I don't know sometimes if people are aware that they're participating in political theater. Political theater is fun. Rhetoric is effective. If you want to ask hard-hitting questions to make somebody look bad, that's fine. But don't act like you're actually accomplishing anything that's like a real meaningful point against the nomination. You're just trying to score political points. The idea that like they should be answering questions about hypothetical cases is so fucking stupid. Of course a nominee is not going to and is not supposed to and we shouldn't want them to be involved in giving us rulings on hypotheticals. That's not what the purpose of the nomination process is. Do you not think that when a justice is written extensively about what their position is, that they can say empty, I can't answer that, but they already have, especially if it was recently? If they've already written extensively about it, then go read their writing. But no, I don't agree because it just doesn't make sense. One, you don't know what any particular case that's going to show up in front of you as a Supreme Court justice. You don't know what the details are going to be, right? Also, two, people shouldn't be voting to nominate you or not nominate you based on how you would rule on a hypothetical case. What is the purpose of the nomination process? The purpose of the nomination process is just check to see if they're qualified for the job. That's it. That's it. That's the whole point. Can you, like, is there anything disqualifying about you? Like, I don't know what that, like, are you a felon or have you, like, lied in court or some dumb shit or whatever like that? That's the purpose. It's not to check for ideological leans or how they would rule in a particular case or whether they agreed or disagreed with the prior court ruling. Confirmation. Do you think it'd be fair to ask her if she plans to recuse herself from any election cases that come up in November? No, she's not going to answer that. Why the fuck would she? Like, or maybe she's been asked that, but I'm guessing if she has been asked that, her answer is probably going to be, maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. I'd have to see the particular thing. She's not going to, why would you commit to anything?
Look at them. Can I get ooh? Thanks for addressing the hypothetical case meme. Super thanks for giving the correct take.
Besides the discussion, what about her horrendous position on climate change? Basically refused to comment on the climate change debate. She doesn't have to. That's not part of what the confirmation process is for. Would you change how they are run? Do you think it would be ideal if they did give answers to questions of that nature? No! It is not the Senate's job to pick the Supreme Court nominee. The Supreme Court nomination is reserved for the President of the United States. When you vote on the President, you are voting on who gets to pick the Supreme Court justice. Once the President has nominated a Supreme Court justice, it's up to the Senate to make sure that there aren't any disqualifying reasons for that person to go through the process. It's not for them to check their political leanings or to see how they'd rule on cases. That's not the job of the Senate. That's not what they're for. They're just to make sure that there's not a disqualifying reason why that person ought not to be a Supreme Court justice. That's it. If you don't like it, vote for a different president. Of course she doesn't have to. I'm asking if disqualifying reasons would include climate change denial.
Usually,
No, of course not.
HMO equals needs referral. PPO equals no referral. If PPO, call the doctor and ask if they are in network or check the insurer's site.
What would be some disqualifying reasons? I don't know if they've ever committed like perjury under oath, if they've committed crimes, or if they've lied at some point during the nomination process or something, if they've like failed to disclose some important piece of information. I guess, I don't know, stuff like that. Hi, Destiny. In an interview for a job, doesn't the interviewer give you a hypothetical situation to see how you do in your job? Not trying to trigger you, I'm just trying to learn. It's a totally different situation. It's a totally different situation. In an interview for a job, the interviewer is deciding whether or not you're going to be hired. In the confirmation process for the Supreme Court, the Senate doesn't make that decision, right? The decision is made by the president. The Senate is just there to make sure there's not some disqualifying thing. It would be the equivalent of, let me give you a more apt thing. It would be like, let's say that I've gone through the whole hiring process and, let's say I've gone through the whole hiring process. I went through the interview and they said I'm cool. And then let's say I have to go to HR to like register some paperwork. And I go to HR and I file the paperwork. They make sure they don't have any like felonies or disqualifying shit or have stolen from jobs or whatever. And let's say that at HR, let's say they notice like, I don't know, like about your haircut or your beard. Like, I don't know if that's appropriate or whatever for the job, right? Well, let's say you've already gone through like the manager, the interview, like they've already okayed you. It's not on HR to bring that up. That's not their fucking job, right? If you're just filing paperwork to make sure you don't have like felonies or some shit, like HR's job isn't to sit there and question, you know, like, well, are you qualified for the job? That's not your job, HR. Fuck off. The person that makes the nomination is the president or like the hiring person or the manager or the supervisor or whatever, right? HR is not there to second guess that process or to start grilling an applicant over like job related questions. I don't know what HR is there for. That's the analogy. She failed to disclose a letter she signed onto advocating for Roe v. Wade to be overturned. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, you can link me if you want. See, Senator Blum, kind of dumb for her to go to the court already wanting to overturn major precedent. She can go to the court with whatever ideological or judicial leanings she has. It's not on you to decide the only people that are allowed to go on the court are people that agree with my political views. In the Senate, if you want to make political picks, which you should be, that's for the president to do, not for the Senate to do. That's not the Senate's job. Destiny, how did Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland get blocked by the Senate by Mitch McConnell? Because Mitch McConnell said that they weren't going to hear the nomination, which they shouldn't have, which is a violation, in my opinion, of the president's power to have a hearing for a Supreme Court pick. The Senate did not live up to their obligations under McConnell when he fired up the nuclear option and got rid of the filibuster and ignored all of the attempts to have Merrick Garland's hearing. Destiny, don't you think being politically biased as a Supreme Court judge would be one of those disqualifying? Okay, I think I've explained it enough so that anybody that wants to understand and is capable of understanding should have already understood what I said. I'm not going to answer questions by dipshits. If you don't get it at this point, there's a lot of other people out there that you can watch that will jerk you off and suck your dick and have you fucking come in their fucking throats to appease your political leanings, since that's all you give a fuck about, and you don't actually give a fuck about the actual process of the nomination to the Supreme Court or anything related to it. Email chat, no, the Garland wasn't the first SCOTUS nominee to be refused a confirmation hearing. I didn't know that. Wait, who else has been stalled? For similar reasons? Or for other reasons? My understanding is that Garland was the longest. There has never been a history in the U.S. where, well, no, I guess if Garland was the longest and others haven't, but Garland was the longest case in which a president tried to have a Supreme Court nominee heard by the Senate where it didn't happen. Like by far, I think. It was like by far the longest. I don't remember the circumstances, but there were 2 or 3 other cases where nominees were refused a hearing. I wonder what the circumstances were, though. What's the point of Dems trying to find faults in the Supreme Court nominee when they can't possibly stop her from being confirmed? It's for political brownie points, which is fine. You can score those points. That's okay. You can score those points, but don't pretend like you're doing anything more than that. If you think it isn't the Senate's job, but why do you think it should be the Senate's job? As in, what are the benefits of not having ideological tests? Because the Supreme Court is always going to be politically divided. What do you mean? It's the Supreme Court. It's chosen by the president that's elected at the end of a political process. Like that. What happened with Garland? Was McConnell being a bitch? Well, basically, in 2013 under Reid, the Democrats basically said, fuck you. You motherfuckers aren't letting us have our federal judiciary picks. We're going to fuck the filibuster. Fuck you. And they triggered their nuclear option in 2013. In November of 2013, Harriet Reid said, fuck you. We're getting our judicial picks. If you're not going to hear them, you can suck a dick. They steamrolled the Republicans there. And then McConnell bided his time. And in 2017, he struck back with a nuclear option against the Supreme Court and said Garland isn't going to have a hearing now. How do you like that?
We disagree on quite a few political/social topics, but I'm here for the aggressive/combative voice of angsty reason that you are less than 3.
It's almost as if the Dems fucked up in 2013. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, people have been tossing around that nuclear option football back and forth before 2013 as well, I believe. It was threatened a lot before as well, so. I'm super curious. So would a disqualifying reason include Barrett being a flat earther? No! Having positions on if you're a flat earther, anti-vaxxer, et cetera, I don't believe are disqualifying reasons for being a Supreme Court justice. You're not supposed to, like, the Senate isn't supposed to do it for, like, ideological leanings or whatever. Destiny demonstrating a staggering lack of understanding what the SCOTUS actually is and does. Slate, you want to come on and debate Pisco about it? You want to come on and chat, bud? Tell me what part I'm misunderstanding. Open invitation. We got 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the Destiny. I mean chat. Oh. Never mind. Then I agree with you. So anything in these hearings of a political nature is inappropriate, right? I mean, it works politically for brownie points, but it's not going to accomplish anything. Do you think it would have been okay for the Dems to boycott the hearings? I mean, I don't know. Listen, Amy is going to be a Supreme Court justice. That's it. There's no way to stop it. End of discussion. That's it. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Unless Amy fucks up hard and does fucking... Kavanaugh's response in his hearing under pressure was abysmal, okay? He fucking fell apart harder than I ever would have thought possible. Mooten, you're literally... Hey, Mooten, when you get a visit by the FBI, let me know, bud, okay? I hope you make it okay in federal prison. I don't know why the fuck you would type that in chat. You're so fucking stupid. What the fuck is wrong with you? Holy shit. I'm talking about someone else, you moron. Say in a video game, quick. I'm talking D&D, you dumb fuck. Oh. Wait, what? ACB did not close 7 talks she made that were required. I think the disqualifying factor. Do you think she should be removed from that? Sure, if she actually did, I guess. If that's a disqualifying factor, then sure. Okay, this was true then, so this story is true. Hey, I don't know if you guys are aware of it out there or not, okay? If there are any type 1 or type 2 diabetics in the chat, okay? If your blood sugar is elevated, if you are hyperglycemic, your organs will start to rot, okay? Like, diabetic neuropathy is a real thing. Your fingers will rot, your toes will rot, your eyes will rot, and your body will begin to fail, okay? If you have high blood sugar, you gotta do some shit. You gotta take your insulin or find some. Don't if it's too expensive, call in a fucking doctor, call a fucking pharmacy, whatever the fuck you have to do. You absolutely cannot just let your blood sugar be elevated. Elevation of glucose in your blood will kill you. Okay? Fast. Like, you will die within weeks. Or maybe less, actually, if you have no insulin at all. Maybe days. Diabetic shock and everything? Yeah, just heads up. How disappointed on a scale from 1 to 10 are you that the Reddit story is true and you couldn't use it to dunk people who talk about healthcare shit? Not at all. I just wanted to look up and see if it was true. It's cute that you think that I'm as ideologically motivated as you are, though. See you in 1,024 hours, dipshit. Will the Supreme Court have any... If I was really worried about whether a story I would look up would be true or not, then I would just look it up on my other monitor first, and if I knew the outcome, then I would pretend to look it up on stream, and if I knew that it wasn't going to favor some whatever narrative, then I just wouldn't talk to you about it. But I don't give a fuck about it. I just really want to know if it's true or not. That's it. I'm not sitting here trying to score fucking brownie points. There are plenty of other streamers that you can go and watch if you just want them to show you things that agree with you, that make everybody feel good, and you can go suck your own fucking cum out of your own dick, all right? Go have fun with that. You fucking idiot. Isn't this a scam that Elizabeth Holmes did with her Theranos company? Blood tests need to be evaluated by a physician because laymen generally can't understand it. My understanding is that you can take a...
Some people buy bovine or animal insulin. It is far, far cheaper and basically the same thing.
That is not true. This is a meme that gets pushed around people that think that all diabetes like treatments are a fucking scam. Animal insulin and the synthetic insulin that we create now is abso-fucking-lutely not true. There have been significant advancements made to the type of insulin that is available to patients today versus the shit that they were taking decades ago. That's a Dan meme? Wait, is this a meme? It is not basically the same thing. The insulin available to patients today is able to smooth out your blood sugar curves in a far more superior manner than it used to a long time ago. The idea that, oh, insulin today is more expensive because they just want to fucking scam you is not true. That is not true. Modern insulin has been highly improved upon.
What kind of birds stick together? Velcros.
Good one.
You gnome fuck!
I love Twitch chat, but now I'm forced to sub to DGG wide peepo sad.
Can you mute yourself while chewing? No. Giuliani's on Crowder's stream right now. Probably switch to the Hunter Biden docs. Will the Supreme Court have any power at all if the Dems control the Senate and House and the presidency? Can't they just ignore the Supreme Court and make legislation? Well, it depends. If something is ruled unconstitutional, you need an amendment to overcome the Supreme Court. An amendment is very, 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 very fucking hard to get. What's up with the Hunter Biden story? I don't know. We're going to do that after the town halls tonight, though. We'll go and read about it. Destiny, the Supreme Court doesn't actually have any authority over the other branches. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how you view it. The Supreme Court has the ultimate authority in determining whether or not a law is constitutional or not. So it's possible that Congress could pass a law and the Supreme Court could say, actually, that law is not constitutional, so that law has been overturned, right? Or the president could pass an executive order that could be challenged by the states or somebody, and then the Supreme Court could say, no, sorry, President, that's not a constitutional executive order, right? The Supreme Court has literally unlimited power aside from enforcement. No, that is not true. The Supreme Court cannot write legislation.
My bad,
or
Stacey
enforce
boy.
any laws.
I should have fact-checked that before I mindlessly spewed it out. Here's an extra $5 for your patience.
Oh my fucking god.
You gnome fuck!
Tier 2?
2? Thanks, Maury. Destiny, you gotta get a mouse with a free scroll option. What is a free scroll option? I'm spreading awareness that I like Trump. I don't care about personal views like Destiny because he has free thought, unlike some of his viewers. That is true. But if you like Trump, you're not gonna be having fun here, okay? If you showed up at this chat because you see me defend Kyle Rittenhouse, or you see me shit on fucking single payer healthcare is the only way forward, and you think you found a Trump friend, my friend, you are very fucking wrong, okay? I would vote for a pile of shit to be president before the deranged fucking lunatic dipshit that thinks that cloaked jets are actually invisible, okay? Oh, free scroll. Oh, you mean like what you...
Destiny, are
That's
there any issues
so
currently
horrible.
you think a new amendment would be good for?
Yes. We need to expand protected classes in the US.
Why did the homeowner stop taking calls from the furniture store? He only wanted one nightstand.
We need to have protected classes for gamers, okay? Gamers and the most oppressed people.
Free thought, more like reduced price thought.
Good one.
I like Trump and I watching you for a long time, no point listening to people that only agree with you.
Thanks.
You seem like you're in a better mood now, can you unignore me please, thanks.
Who are you? Oh, okay.
Cat. Jam. You. Ara. You. Ara. You. Ara. You. Ara. Bonus meme. What are they doing? Bonus meme.
You're done. Are you friends with any Trump supporters? I don't fucking know. I'm sure somebody I'm friends with supports Trump.
What is a realistic policy that would lower private insurance premiums, or is universal healthcare simply the more optimal choice?
I don't know, my dude. There's a lot of shit to talk about. Is your distaste for Trump mostly for his rhetoric or his politics? It's for all of the above.
Destiny, does this image mean anything to you?
His rhetoric is fucking abysmal. And his politics, his policies themselves are also fucking abysmal. When is the town hall stuff starting? 5 minutes probably.
In the event Biden croaks, how confident would you be in a Harris presidency?
I don't know.
Love you, buddy.
You still friends with Geisha? No, I think people unfriend me when we have big political disagreements. I was never that close to Geisha.
Trying again. Which town hall first tonight?
I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks for all you do, big guy.
I used to be really close friends with some girl that's part of like these 4 socialist girls on like fucking Twitter now. And she like completely started ignoring me like 6 months ago. I say completely ignoring, but like I would send her messages, she just like stopped responding to me completely. I have no idea why. And then like later on, I saw that she came out as like this radical fucking communist. So I think she fucking hates me as like, because that's a good meme.
Would you rather chat with Tim Pool or Dave Rubin?
Probably Dave Rubin. He's bigger, right?
I
Probably
know
Tim
why
Pool
Doc
right now.
got banned but cannot say. How did Slasher get away with this cockroach approach? Hashtag free Doc, hashtag I want the truth.
Boza's Instagram story was terrifying. Wait, what's her story? Oh, was it from her thing today? I don't know how much she...
It needs to stop, and if it takes hiring people to mow down blades of grass to stop my lawn from looking like shit, then they have my fucking blessing.
Gotcha. Twitch recommended Geisha, and she's a full-on corona... No, yes. Geisha is a full-on, like, QAnon, conservative, every single conspiracy theory all rolled into one. It's insane. Did you watch The Boys? I binged season 2. Honest, okay, hot take. I don't think The Boys is that good. It feels very low budget to me. I'm watching it. I'm on to like episode 4 of season 2. I don't understand. It seems like there was this huge compound that like, it seemed like there was this huge compound that people were trying to get into, that Butcher wanted to get into, and then like and they talked about how it's like guarded so hardcore. How did he just go there with his wife and like nobody caught them or anything? It seemed like it was so, I don't understand it. It seemed like there's so much random shit that happens in this show. Sorry. Destiny, hey, I watched your video of Ben Shapiro and you mentioned how it was good that property taxes increased and the value increased. Why? It's like investing in financial markets. You should have to pay money. You shouldn't have to pay that money unless you sell via capital gains. I'm okay with taxing big houses. Listen, if you're buying a big house, you're probably rich, you probably have income, you can pay taxes on it. Fuck you.
If president is a job, why don't Congress and Supreme Court jointly hold presidential debates for all the candidates on the ballot? 5-hour debates or something.
What?
Had a best friend for 6 years and I lost her to communism. Sucks.
I'm sorry, mate.
You gnome fuck!
Girls online are highly susceptible
That face
to the
when
extreme lefty
Destiny has
grift.
no idea anything about league preseason and is doing to be completely at a loss at all the item changes. Pepe. Laugh. Bonus meme, telephone receiver, ooh moshi moshi, telephone receiver, ooh. Yo, what's up homie? My philosophy PhD roommate had my computer while I was taking a massive shit on commies in a debate. Could I get an unban?
Okay. I don't know who the fuck you are. Or I'd have to look and see why you're banned. Email to get unbanned. Pretty much the entire online sex work community seems to be full on commie living. Yes.
Hey Steven, been playing League lately? I played against a midget and lost, so I'm not doing so good.
I'm a SoCal homeowner. I don't have a big house, but it is expensive as fuck. I already get taxed like a mofo. Being taxed more just because my house gain value feels bad, man. Then leave! Go somewhere else!
The main argument I keep running into is people are worried Biden won't actually be president and it will be some deep state super scary spooky boy. Have you run into this before?
Nope. Don't care. Even if Harris was the president, it'd be better than fucking Trump. Listen, if you can't afford paying tax on your house, you can't afford to live in Southern California, so get the fuck out. This place is already expensive as fuck, and it's overcrowded. The cost of real estate is insane, and it keeps getting more and more and more and more credit. Why are people keep coming to this shitty fucking city? I don't know why the fuck you guys want to live here so bad. LA is such an atrocious fucking place. I have no AC, no refrigerator, no in-unit washer dryer. I pay $3,400 a month for this shit fucking apartment because you guys keep moving here, and then you try to lower taxes because you can't fucking afford to stay here. Go the fuck elsewhere. Go move to Portland. That's where all the ex-Californians want to go in. Go live in Portland. You can chill there, get your fucking Birkenstocks and your briefcases, or not briefcases, your backpack, whatever trendy shit you carry, or go to Austin, or go to Dallas. A lot of people are moving to Texas now. Well, go somewhere else. Stop trying to make the taxes, stop trying to gimp every part of the California system because you can't afford it, right? If you can't afford it, then you shouldn't be here. Let the fucking market actually start to settle itself out instead of playing all these stupid games with the fucking taxes because you shouldn't be living here. Fuck. Ugh. What about landlords who are under rent control? What about when taxes keeps increasing if you can't increase rent to keep up? Yeah, get fucked. All that shit is pretty fucked. Oh, man. Have you... Dude, I feel like every single issue that I see is just people not knowing anything. Link the thing. Okay, well, I won't talk about it now since we're all spamming to link this. Later on, we can talk about why a lot of people are complaining. I think I saw a video by that Louis Rossman guy who's like, oh, they won't reduce my rent in my commercial real estate property. If you own commercial real estate property, you cannot reduce rent because you will get fucked by your mortgage. It is better to keep a unit empty with nobody renting than to reduce the rent and bring in a new renter at a reduced cost. Because as soon as you reduce the rent, you reduce the value of the property in such a way that your mortgage now flips upside down and the bank will no longer allow you to hold the mortgage on the property. There's a whole complicated thing, but we can talk about that later if you want. But I see like a lot of, dude, I see so many people complaining about things that like people just don't, are just like, why are everybody so evil or whatever? Sorry. Okay. 19 days Am I gonna get DMCA'd for this? Is there like a C-SPAN link? C-SPAN isn't as aggressive for that, right? Wow, this argument can't be applied further, I guess. Hey, if you can't afford healthcare, die. Destiny, I agree, bro. Welcome to the right. What? You mean moving to another place is the same as moving into the fucking afterlife, Wartome? You realize that you can change your spatial location, the place that you exist, okay, on the four-dimensional blanket of space-time. You can move from one spot to another. I'm not telling you to die. I'm just telling you to go somewhere else. You think that saying that maybe you should move to a cheaper place is the same as saying you shouldn't be able to buy healthcare, you fucking degenerate moron? Like healthcare theoretically should be available to every citizen. Not every single motherfucker in the U.S. can live in L.A., okay? We got more of a population in L.A. than some fucking European countries. We don't need more motherfuckers coming here, okay? Jesus Christ. Sorry. No C-SPAN link? Are you fucking kidding me? Give me the... I don't care about Trump. Give me the Biden one. No, I don't care about Biden. Give me the Trump one, actually.
Tonight, the president will be taking questions from voters here in Miami, who we should mention are socially distanced and they're wearing masks. And
I feel like I'm gonna get fucked on YouTube for this. Do other people do this? Wait, where is Deepak?
President in 2016 and plan to again. Some support Joe Biden, and some say they are truly undecided. We're going to get a mix of questions on a range of topics, and we're going to get to those questions in a moment. But first, with all that ado, welcome, Mr. President. Now the president is doing the same.
Oh, fuck it. Deepak is going, so. Damn, he's just got that video up there too, huh?
We send our best to the First Lady and to Barron. Thank you. Do you have any remaining symptoms from COVID?
Nothing whatsoever. I'm great. I feel good. I was in North Carolina today and did a big rally. We had a tremendous turnout, and just feel really good. Florida, Pennsylvania, we're all over the place. It's been great.
You received some treatments that are generally reserved for those with the most severe form of the disease.
Yeah.
How severe were your symptoms? In particular, did you have pneumonia?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel strong. I had a little bit of a temperature. The doctors at the White House are fantastic, as you can imagine, and they really didn't want to take a chance. And they said, "Let's go to the hospital." I said, "That's okay. I'm going to, respond to what you say." And we went over to Walter Reed, where you have tremendous professionals. They gave me Regeneron and Remdesivir both, and all I know is I felt good. The following day, I felt really good.
Did the doctors ever tell you that they saw pneumonia on your lung scans?
No, but they said the lungs are, a little bit different, a little bit perhaps infected. And
infected with?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't do too much asking. I really felt good. I didn't have much of a problem with the lungs. I did have a little bit of a temperature. Obviously, I felt there was something missing, and then I tested positive.
Well, let's talk about testing, because there's a little bit of confusion about this, and I think we can clear it up.
Yeah, and there shouldn't.
Your first positive test was Thursday, October 1st, okay? When was your last negative test? When did you last remember having a negative test?
Well, I test quite a bit, and I can tell you that before the debate, which I thought it was a very good debate, and I felt fantastically. I had no problem before.
Did you test the day of the debate?
I don't know.
He has to be very careful here, because they're asking for timelines, and I'm sure he's rehearsed this a million times, but they're probably asking because, if you tested positive or if you tested negative 3 days before the debate, why didn't you get a test, et cetera, et cetera. Like, they're just trying to nail him on the timeline shit. But I'm sure he's rehearsed the fuck out of these answers. So.
Test all the time, but I can tell you this, after the debate, I guess a day or so, I think it was Thursday evening, maybe even late Thursday evening, I tested positive. That's when I first found out about
Back to the debate, because the debate commission's rules, it was the honor system, would be that you would come with a negative test. You say you don't know if you got a test on the day of the debate?
I have no problem. Again, the doctors do it. I don't ask them. I test all the time. And
did you take a test, though, on the day of the debate?
If you ask the doctor, they'll give you a perfect answer.
Yeah.
But they take a test, and I leave, and I go about my business.
Did you take a test on the day of the debate? I guess is the bottom line.
I probably did, and I took a test the day before and the day before, and I was always in great shape, and I was in great shape for the debate. And it was only after the debate, like a period of time after the debate, that I said, that's interesting, and they took a test, and it tested positive.
So just to button it up, do you take a test every single day?
No, but I take a lot of tests.
Okay, and you don't know if you took a test the day of the debate?
Possibly I did, possibly I didn't, but the doctor is very accurate information, and it's not only that doctor, it's many doctors. The one thing, if you're president, you have a lot of doctors you're surrounded by, but I was in great shape for the debate, and sometime after the debate, I tested positive.
Let's talk about...
That's when they decided to let's go.
Okay, good. I've hopefully provided some clarity for folks. Let's talk about the event that was held at the White House on the Saturday before you tested positive. Subsequent to that, 13 people connected to that event tested positive. There was an outdoor reception. You've seen the pictures. There was an indoor reception. People were not wearing masks. My question to you is, at this point in the pandemic, knowing what we know, shouldn't you have known better? Shouldn't the White House know better than to hold an event like that?
Well, they do a lot of testing in the White House. They test everybody, including me, but they test everybody. And something happened. But as far as the mask is concerned, I'm good with masks. I'm okay with masks. I tell people wear masks. But just the other day, they came out with a statement that 85% of the people that wear masks catch it. So,
they didn't say that. I know that study.
That's what I heard, and that's what I saw. And regardless, but everybody's tested, and they're tested often. And I also knew that, hey, I'm president. I have to see people. I can't be in a basement. I can't be in a room. I have to be out.
You can see people with a mask, though, right?
I can, but people with masks are catching it all the time. I mean, if you look at the governor of Virginia, he was known for a mask. If you look at Tom Tillis, a great guy, he always had a mask, and they caught it.
Well, there are pictures of Tom Tillis actually with one of Judge Barrett's kids not wearing a mask. But, Chris Christie, he was part of your debate prep.
Yeah.
He was, I believe, at that event. He came out tonight. He was sick, very sick. He was in the hospital for about a week.
I know
he
that.
came out tonight and said, I was wrong not to wear a mask.
Well, I mean, he has to say that. I think it's great. He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. And wrong or not wrong, you have to understand, as president, I can't be locked in a room someplace for the next year and just stay and do nothing. And every time I go into a crowd, I was with the parents of our fallen heroes. These people are the most incredible people. And they came up to me, and they would hug me, and they would touch me. And I'm not going to not let them do it.
Now, there was an event with the Gold Star families the day after the Supreme Court event.
A Gold Star event with the most incredible people you've ever seen. And I could have chosen not to talk to them or to keep everybody away. And you know what? And I don't think that's probably where it was caught, but maybe it was.
I was going to say, you bring it up. You brought it up yourself. I mean, are you trying to suggest that? Do you believe a grieving military family gave you COVID?
No, I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
And you don't know where it came from, and the doctors don't know where it came from. But as the president, I have to be out there. I also know...
Well, there's no one that says you can't be out there, but it's just about wearing masks and having, for example, your rallies.
I know this.
Your rallies don't require masks.
No, I mean, let's see Kamala. She's got people now. People have it, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing. As president, I have to be out there. I can't be in a basement. I can't be locked in a very beautiful room someplace in the White House.
Except when there are protesters outside, he needs to go investigate his bunker, but okay.
And I want to see the Gold Star families, and I want to see everybody. And I also say to people all the time, it's risky doing it. It is risky doing it.
But as president, you're right. You want to be a leader, but you also are a leader and a setter of an example. And if you're not wearing a mask, when your administration is saying best practice right now is wear a mask, no, it's not foolproof.
But many people are catching it. Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
Sent to us.
But many people are getting this, and I mean, nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard to get this thing out of our country, get it out of the world. Look at what's going on in Europe. Massive spikes. They've done a very good job, but now you take a look today at the UK, you take a look at Spain and France and Italy, there's tremendous spikes.
But our death rate is worse than, well, not Spain, but those other countries.
I have things right here that will tell you exactly the opposite.
Me too.
So the UK is up 2,500%, because I knew you'd be doing this. I know you very well. The UK is up 2,500%. The EU is up 722%, and the United States is down 21%.
But we have, our deaths per capita is among the highest among industrially.
Excess mortality, we're a winner on the excess mortality. And what we've done has been amazing, and we have done an amazing job. And it's rounding the corner, and we have the vaccines coming, and we have the therapies coming. And I'll tell you what, one thing, when I got it, I had a choice, do nothing or use some of the things that we're looking at, like in this case, Regeneron. Yeah. And Eli Lilly makes something that's supposed to be incredible. And I think that maybe I wouldn't be doing this discussion with you right now. We have therapies now, and cures maybe. You can use the word cure. But we have therapies that are absolutely incredible.
I want to pick up on something you just said. You said we're rounding the corner.
I believe we're rounding the corner.
Now, 10% of the country approximately has had COVID. That means 80, 90%, 90%, let's do the math, is still vulnerable.
Right.
There's been some talk, including from the White House lately, that perhaps it approves of what's called herd immunity. That's where you basically just let young people and everybody get sick. You try to protect the old people and those who are sick, and hopefully it gets up to a certain level, and now we're all immune. Yeah. So let's just be clear about it. It also means more deaths. Do you support herd immunity as a strategy? Essentially, just let people get sick.
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. We did the right thing. We were expected to lose 2,200,000 people, and maybe more than that. We're at 210,000 people. One person is too much. It should have never happened because of China. It happened because of China. And you have to get that and understand that. But it shouldn't have happened. But we were expected to lose. If you look at the original charts from original doctors who are respected by everybody, 2 2,200,000
That 2
people.
million figure, though, is if you
We
literally
saved 2
did
million
nothing.
people.
The 2 million figure is if you did absolutely.
People keep talking about this study that cited these massive amounts of deaths in the United States. There were two numbers given for that. The lower one was like 40,000 and the high end was 2 million. The 2 million assumed that absolutely no action was taken. He keeps citing 2 million like, oh, they said we were going to get 2 million deaths. Nobody said that if you were taking predictive measures. We've looked at this study honestly before. Republicans will just throw that out over and over and over again like fucking morons without, yeah, she's bringing this up. Trump will continue to lie about the number because
nothing, it would be 2 million. The question is, should the deaths be better than 200,000 when relative to the rest of the world we have a worse death rate?
I left North Carolina, which I love. I left Pennsylvania. We won a big case in Michigan because that governor has a lockdown where nobody but her husband can do anything. He can go voting and do whatever he wants, but nobody else can. The fact is we're winning all these cases because it's unconstitutional what they're doing. And I think they're doing it for political reasons. But the fact is the cure, you can't let this continue to go on with the lockdowns.
Well, most
and I believe that on November 4th, you're going to have a lot of these governors. Look at what's happening to New York. New York is a mess. They lost almost 40,000 people. They have a lockdown like you've never seen. Now they're open. It's like a ghost town. And so that's very important. People are leaving New York by the thousands. And you're going to have a hard time ever building it up again. So that cure, that so-called cure that you talk about, it can't be worse than the problem. The problem is a bad problem.
We've got more questions on COVID, so let's drop it for now. We were supposed to, as mentioned, be watching you on a debate stage right now.
New York is not a mess. And they haven't been a mess for months. That is just patently not true. Just absolutely not true.
Doing that, so let's clear up a few things from the last one. You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy.
No,
my question to you is,
you've done this to
why
me and
does
everybody.
it seem like...
I denounced white supremacy, okay?
You did 2 days
denounced
later.
white supremacy for years, but you always do it. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounced white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you waited.
Here we go again. Every time. In fact, my people came. I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly,
nice.
You want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't know what they're doing.
While we're denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is
If
a
you'd like me
satanic cult run by the deep
study
state.
the subject, I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Republican Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories.
He may be
Why not
right.
just say it's
Can I be
crazy and
honest?
not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste a whole show.
I guarantee you that at least in some briefing somewhere, Trump has definitely been briefed on what QAnon is. There's no fucking way that he hasn't heard a single fucking thing about this. Don't believe it.
You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more.
Let me just tell you, what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia. And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that. And I agree with it.
There's not a satanic pedophile
I have no idea. I know
You
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that.
just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week.
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left? Why aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're here before me.
No, so cute. Antifa.
So
exists.
cute.
They're
Ew.
violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities.
Wait, did he just say that? So cute? Hold on.
You're right. I just don't know about QAnon.
You do know.
I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste the whole show. You start off with white supremacy. I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more.
Let me just tell you what I do hear about it is they are very strongly against pedophilia, and I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree with that.
You don't know that? Okay.
No, I don't know.
You
that.
just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week.
Why aren't you asking me about Antifa? Why aren't you asking me about the radical left? Why aren't you asking Joe Biden questions about why doesn't he condemn Antifa? Why does he say it doesn't exist?
Because you're
Antifa. No, it's so cute. Antifa exists. They're vicious, they're violent, they kill people, and they're burning down our cities. And they happen to be radical left.
Just this week, you retweeted to your 87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden. Now, why would you send a lie like that to your followers? You retweeted.
That was a retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves.
You're the president. You're not like someone's crazy uncle who can just retweet whatever.
That was a retweet, and I do a lot of retweets. And frankly, because the media is so fake and so corrupt, if I didn't have social media, I don't call it Twitter, I call it social media, I wouldn't be able to get the word out. And the word is, and you know what the word is? The word is very simple. We're building our country stronger and better than it's ever been before. And that's what's happening, and everybody knows it.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions for you.
We're winning in a lot of states.
Okay.
We're winning in a lot of states.
Let me ask, okay, I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you leftover? Let me ask, okay, I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you accept a peaceful transfer of power? You have said repeatedly, the only way we lose this election is if it is rigged. Now, that is simply not true. The fact is either candidate can lose fair and square without ballot fraud. So will you accept the results of the election?
That's the way I want it to be. But when I see thousands of ballots, right, unsolicited ballots being given out by the millions, and thousands of them are dumped in dumpsters, and when you see ballots with the name Trump, military ballots from our great military, and they're dumped in garbage cans.
That is a handful. We could go all night, which we won't.
No,
but we could go all night,
day.
one by one, a single case, a single day. You're talking about 150 million votes. Your own FBI director says there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
Well, then he's not doing a very good job. All you have to do is pick up the papers every day. 50,000 in Ohio, the great state of Ohio.
Just throws his FBI director, his own picked one, under the bus. Like, Jesus.
50,000 in another location, I think North Carolina. 500,000 applications in Virginia. No, there's a tremendous problem. But let me just tell you, they talk about the peaceful transfer, right? They spied on my campaign and they got caught, and they spied heavily on my campaign, and they tried to take down a duly elected sitting president. And then they talk about, will you accept a peaceful transfer? And the answer is yes, I will. But I want it to be an honest election, and so does everybody else. When I see thousands of ballots dumped in a garbage can and they happen to have my name on it, I'm not happy about that.
Okay, but just those are there is in fact no evidence of widespread fraud, and you were sowing doubt about our democracy.
How can you say that? You do read newspapers.
I do.
You do watch the news.
Yes,
I know you read the news, but do you watch it?
I do.
Because every day they're talking about ballots that are corrupt, that are fraudulent.
And millions that are being processed right now.
But you can win a race. Take a look at me. You can win a race by 1%.
But why are you laying the groundwork for that right now? It's like if I go play tennis with my husband and I say my ankle's hurting right now.
I don't want that to happen, Savannah. I want it to be clean. I really feel we're going to win. But I want this to be clean. But it's sort of ironic that you and them talk about the peaceful transfer when I spent 3.5 years fighting off these maniacs, and now it turns out everything's there, that they were the ones that dealt with Russia. And it's too bad.
Wrong.
Peaceful transfer,
Good one, though.
I absolutely want that, but ideally I don't want to transfer because I want to win.
Yes, and I think that your words will probably reassure some folks. Let's get to our first voter. We've got Jacqueline Lugo. Now, she is, I told you this audience is truly split between y'all. You are leaning Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as an independent. Jacqueline, what's your question for the president? And you hold the mic up close and take off your mic because it's hard to hear out here.
Good evening.
How are you?
Welcome to Miami.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Mr. President, if you knew COVID-19, as you told Bob Woodward in February.
As what?
As you told Bob Woodward in February, was airborne and deadlier than the flu, why did you only put in place a travel ban from China and not put in place other measures mitigating the spread of COVID-19, potentially saving tens of thousands of American lives?
Well, I did put it in very early, as you know. Joe Biden was 2 months behind me, and he called me xenophobic and racist
Joe
and
Biden
everything else.
wasn't the president, but
and it turned out that I was 100% right. I also put it on Europe very early because I saw there was a lot of
he did, and he waited like almost 2 months to ban Europe.
An amazing question, and I appreciate appreciate the question and respect the question, but the news doesn't get out the right answer because I put on a travel ban far earlier than Dr. Fauci thought it was necessary.
He did it after the WHO declared it a problem in China.
I was actually the only one that wanted to put it on, and I did it actually against the advice of a lot of people, including Nancy Pelosi, who had no clue what she was doing, and Biden. When I put on the travel ban, I put it on in January, the end of January. When I put on the travel ban, Joe Biden and others said, this is ridiculous. You don't do that. Well, Dr. Fauci said I saved thousands and thousands of lives.
Did you?
I was early. I was extremely early when I put on the travel ban.
Can I ask you, did your national security advisor on January 28th in the Oval Office warn you that this would be the greatest national security risk of your administration? He didn't say it, or you don't remember?
I read it someplace. Maybe Woodward said it or something. But no, he did not say that. But I knew it was a big threat. At the same time, I don't want to panic this country. I don't want to go out and say everybody's going to die. Everybody's
Isn't
going
there a middle ground? You don't have to mislead, but you can.
No, there's not a middle ground. You have to be safe, you have to be vigilant, and you have to be smart.
You're going to like this next couple of voters. It's a mom and a daughter.
Good.
Mom, Barbara, voted for you in 2016. She's leaning to vote for you again. Now, her daughter was too young to vote last time. She's going to vote for her first time in a presidential campaign, and she is leaning Biden. So imagine the dinner table at their house, okay? So, Barbara, why don't you go first and ask your question?
Bienvenido a Miami.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, as a frontline ER doctor working through the coronavirus pandemic, I know firsthand, and I've seen that many hospitals throughout the United States are suffering financial hardships. These economic effects are trickling down to the frontline workers. We are being, across the country, frontline workers are being fired, they're being furloughed, our salaries are being cut. And this is also happening in other economic sectors as well, including the travel industry and hospitality. My question to you is, how are you going to get the United States back on track, both in terms of the economy and the pandemic?
So it's happening. We just set a record, 11.4 million jobs. We are going to have a phenomenal third quarter, which will be announced on November 1st, just prior to the big November 3rd day, where I think you're going to see a red wave. But we're going to have a tremendous announcement, I believe. I mean, we're going to find out. But GDP is going through the roof. Jobs, real estate, houses, so many things are happening. So people were saying we were going to have a 42% unemployment. Look, this was a thing that came into our country, and it happened more than 100 years ago, and it happened now. They were talking about a 42.
Real quick, here's a sales tip. Trump does this all the fucking time. If you're going to be late to work, if you're supposed to be to work at 9 o'clock and you're going to be there at 9:10, if you call your boss and say, hey, listen, I'm running late, I'll be there by 9:30. If you show up at 9:10, you actually look a little good. Even though you're 10 minutes late, it actually seems like you're 20 minutes early. Anytime Trump is asked a question, hey, there's some horrible thing, he always says, people thought it was going to be even more horrible, and it's only horrible. Isn't that good? Trump gives this type of answer in response to so many things. It's like a classic level 1 salesman technique, is managing customer expectations. So even if you deliver shitty shit, as long as it's better than expected, better than the expectation you set, then it always ends up making you look good. He does this constantly.
2% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that?
It just came out at 7.8% unemployment, and people can't even believe it. Our economy is going to be, next year, if we don't have somebody that raises taxes and quadruples taxes, which they want to do and kills everything, our economy is going to be phenomenal next year. We're going to have a phenomenal. And I'll tell you, Savannah, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country last year, including the state of Florida, where we are now, and Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and Ohio, every place. We had the greatest economy we ever had. We had to close it down. We saved 2 million lives. We're opening it up. We have a V shape, and it's coming back. It's coming back very fast. One other thing, we really helped the hospitals. We've sent billions and billions of dollars to the hospitals. In addition, hundreds of millions of masks and gowns. And we went into the ventilator business because this country was not equipped with ventilators. And I'm not blaming anybody for it. But we're now making thousands of ventilators a month. And we have all we can use. We're sending them all over the world because the world needs them. So they've worked very hard and really very, very effectively. Thank you. Great question.
Let's talk to Isabella. Put the mic close to your mouth. Okay.
Sorry, hold on, because I see a lot of Republican dipshits in a YouTube chat, because I haven't screamed at the disgusting shit that shows up on my YouTube chat. Destiny. Oh yeah, Destiny. A virus happened. You one of them people who won. I think you're trying to say, are you one of those people who think a 2-week full lockdown would have saved us by now? You don't think we're in this until a vaccination? I don't know. Go look at South Korea and tell us why the United States couldn't have been more like them, or New Zealand. I'm super curious. Because population density, travel, like huge cities, big population. South Korea has all of that. We had the same first reported case on the exact same day. They even had a closer proximity to China when it came time for like the virus to spread and everything. Tell me why we couldn't be more like South Korea. Their deaths are in the hundreds, you stupid fuck. Stop trying to make so many excuses for your supposedly successful businessman president that can't run his businesses or the fucking presidency. Jesus Christ.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, my parents are, as you heard, both frontline healthcare workers, and I've seen the physical and the mental tolls that this pandemic has taken on them firsthand, as well as the exacerbation of coronavirus due to Americans who are not wearing masks or participating in social distancing. After contracting COVID-19 yourself, has your opinion changed on the importance of mask wearing?
No, because I was okay with the masks. I was good with it, but I've heard many different stories on masks. I mean, I had, being president, you have people, they bring meals, they bring this, and I had an instance recently where a very wonderful person is bringing me a meal, and he's playing with his mask, and he's touching his mask all over the place, and then he's bringing a plate in, and I'm saying, well, I don't know if that's so good. I mean, the good news, I didn't eat it. Okay, I decided not to eat it. This was a month ago, but look, you have on the masks, you have two stories. You have a story where they want, a story where they don't want. I am all for it.
I don't get that because it's just all of your public health officials, your administration.
South Korea and New Zealand have both no land borders though, right? Hey, Jody, I don't know if you know this, bro, but I don't think you can walk from Europe or China to the United States as well.
They're in unison about this. They're all in unison about it. The University of Washington, which is they have a model that your coronavirus task force relies on, says that if everyone wore a mask, you could cut expected deaths in half. 60,000 lives. Well, what does that mean?
Scott Atkins, if you look at Scott, Dr. Scott, he's from great guy, Stanford. He will tell you
he's not an infectious disease expert.
Oh, I don't know. Look, he's an expert. He's one of the great experts of the world.
But I don't get it because you have so much power and influence as president. You could go to you could require it at your rallies, and you could say, everyone put on a mask right now. And the University of Washington says you could save lives.
University of Washington, and you have other places say different things. You have a lot. Hey, Dr. Fauci said don't wear a mask, right?
At first, but then everybody agreed.
No, I don't know. Then he changed his mind. But then you have a report coming out 2 days ago that 85% of the
science. Also, another thing, science changes over time. In the beginning, people weren't as sure if masks would be effective. They wanted to ration them for healthcare workers. They didn't know if normal people wearing masks. Just because somebody updates their information or changes their mind over time doesn't mean that we constantly go back and hold them to. Well, Fauci said 7 months ago that we weren't supposed to wear masks. Okay, that was 7 months ago. He's changed his mind. Why haven't you? Like, if somebody says one wrong thing wrong ever, are you going to repeat the wrong thing they said forever and go, well, he said something wrong a year ago, so I'm going to keep saying it? Like, how fucking stupid are you?
The people wearing masks.
I looked at that report. It's not about mask wearing. It was neutral on the question of masks.
We're on the same side. I say wear the mask. I'm fine with it. I have no problem. We're on the same side.
Let's take a break. We're going to get more questions right after this.
Holy shit. Did you see how much he's slouching? He's doing fine. We're in South Korea detaining and lock people up as well as tracking them by their cell phones. That wouldn't fly in the US, no. I don't know. I mean, like, there are things that we could have done, okay? This is what the United States did. Prove me wrong. A lot of Republicans want to prove me. Here we go, okay? If Trump had so much foresight and knew that this virus is going to be a huge problem and locked down travel in China in I think it might have been February 1st, okay? We didn't wait until mid-March to do lockdowns in the US for Europe, okay? What did we do in February and in the first 2 weeks of March to prepare for the pandemic? If we knew it was so huge a problem and he had so much foresight that he banned travel from China after the WHO declared a pandemic, then what did we do then to get ready? You don't even know what South Korea did, and you're acting like the U.S. is so drastically different. For fuck's sake, Destiny. What do you mean? You don't know what South Korea did? I don't know every single exact thing that South Korea did. I know that South Korea aggressively fucking tested by the millions. I know that South Korea follows aggressive contact tracing, right? When somebody has an infection, they trace who they had and who else hasn't. They contact people very aggressively for it. I'm pretty sure those were the two major things, was the amount of aggressive testing and the amount of aggressive contact tracing they did. And then masks and social distancing help as well. But I'm pretty sure those first two things are the big things that South Korea did that set them apart from at least a lot of Western countries. Apparently, Southeast Asian countries are more used to this type of stuff than we are in the Western world. But I mean that Australia and New Zealand did it as well. Like, we listened to the health professionals. What else could Trump do? Well, Trump didn't listen to healthcare professionals. He didn't when he was constantly opposed to masks. He didn't when he constantly called it the Chinese virus over and over again. He didn't when he constantly made recommendations for bogus medications like hydroxychloroquine over and over again. Like, what do you mean? You listen to health experts? Fuck off.
So come on out, Christy. She is leaning slightly towards you. She says she voted for you in 2016. Christy, you ready? Take the mask off, hold the mic close, and let's hear your question.
Thank you for your
Oh, my donations are, I'll play them all when we're done with this so they're not interrupting us and shit.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
We're a hard-working, middle-class family of 4. My husband and I are both self-employed, and we have to get our own individual health care. As you know, healthcare costs have gone up considerably.
Hydroxychloroquine has turned out to be an effective drug. Wrong. Unless there is a new prospective study out that shows that, there might be, and I haven't seen it in the past week, but all of the prospective studies that have been done on hydroxychloroquine, like, illustrated almost no positive effect. There were a couple that made it look like it could be okay, but those were retrospectives. All of the prospective studies on hydroxychloroquine showed nothing. Fuck it. Guess what? Guess who wasn't taking hydroxychloroquine when they had COVID-19? It was Daddy Trump. Really makes you think, doesn't it?
Decades, and you had originally said you were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. What is your plan now in 2020 to make healthcare costs affordable for Americans like myself?
How about the 50-plus peer-reviewed studies? There have not been 50-plus peer-reviewed prospective studies. Prospective meaning they start out at the very beginning using standard of care versus a hydroxychloroquine or hydroxychloroquine plus azithromycin treatment or plus azithromycin and hydroxychloroquine and zinc or whatever fucking combination of shit you want to do with it. It has not happened. Prospective studies, good gold standard studies relating to hydroxychloroquine versus standard of care have just not shown. You can say wrong all you want, and you can be mad all you want, but you know what? While you guys are fucking downing, when you're downing loads of fucking Trump cum down your throat, when that motherfucker got sick, guess what drug he was not fucking pumping himself full of? Hydroxychloroquine. Take of that what you will.
So we got rid of the individual mandate on Obamacare, which was the worst part of Obamacare, and now you could actually say it's not Obamacare because that's how big it was, where you had to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. So we got rid of that. That was a big, big thing. And by doing that, and we will always have, by the way, we're always protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and I can't say that more strongly, but we've been able to bring healthcare costs way down. Now,
Destiny, wrong. Oh, never mind. Hold on. Idrito, you can come back in 1 month. Don't email and unban or you're permabanned.
I took over Obamacare, got rid of the individual mandate, made it good, managed it much better. Remember, they had the $5 billion website disaster and all of the problems they had. The problem with Obamacare, it's not good. We'd like to terminate it, and we want a much less expensive health care that's a much better health care, and that's where we're aiming. And if we can do that, and we have a very good chance of doing it, but we've also brought down the price of Obamacare. The problem with Obamacare, it basically is never going to be great, and I want to give great health care.
Mr. President, I've got to follow up on the pre-existing conditions. This is such a big issue for voters.
It is a big issue for me, too.
In point of fact, your administration is about to go to the Supreme Court to argue to throw out the rest of Obamacare, which includes the protections for pre-existing conditions.
That's right.
So your administration is in court right now trying to get rid of that protection.
In order to replace it with a much better health care at a much lower price, and always, under all circumstances...
You had the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, and you could not replace Obamacare. You could not replace the ACA. Why do you think you're going to do it next year with a more divided Congress, with a Senate that potentially stands against you, with a House that's definitely going to stand against you? The Trump administration, the Republicans spent 6 years crying about the ACA, and when they finally had the chance to do something about it, they couldn't do anything about it. Fuck you, you fucking idiot. What a worthless fuck president. Imagine campaigning. This is like the biggest promise of the Republicans, and they couldn't actually get it done. They have no replacement whatsoever for the ACA.
We are going to protect the Republicans. And I mean, maybe I changed the party a lot over the last 3 years, but we will protect people with pre-existing conditions. And Savannah, what I want to do, get rid of the terrible Obamacare. I've already done it to a large extent because, as you know, the individual mandate is gone. That was the worst part.
You repealed, but you haven't replaced. Now, you've been in office almost 4 years. You had both houses of Congress, Senate and the House.
Whoa, what a genius. She's so smart.
Yes.
That's right. I'm sorry, but if you look, we had both houses, and what did we do? We got rid of the individual mandate.
But
that went through the legislature.
Repeal and replace.
Look, we should be on the same side. I want it very simple. I'm going to put it very simple. We would like to terminate it, and we would like to replace it with something that's much less expensive and much better. We will always protect people with pre-existing conditions.
But if you're successful in November, those pre-existing conditions, that promise will be gone.
If we don't succeed, we are running the remnants of whatever's left because we took it apart. We are running the remnants of whatever is left much better than the previous administration, which ran it very badly. But we'd like to have new health care, much better and much less expensive.
Let me get to question number 5, and you'll like this. He's stuck in traffic. His name is Joe White. He is registered as a Democrat. He says he's leaning toward Biden, and Biden had voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And his question was, a second stimulus payment has been broadly agreed upon by the Republicans and Democrats, and yet now we're in October and it's still not passed. Why not use your office to make the second stimulus payment a separate targeted emergency relief package to help Americans weather the pandemic?
We've actually passed 3 packages, and we're on our 4th. And I agree with him 100%. He should vote for me. The problem you have is Nancy Pelosi. She couldn't care less about the worker. She couldn't care less about our people. And we should have a stimulus. And I want a stimulus. The Republicans will approve a stimulus. The problem is she doesn't want to do it because she thinks it's bad for her election. The fact is she's wrong because people know she's in our way. She's not approving it. She doesn't appreciate our people, and she doesn't appreciate at all our workers. Nancy Pelosi we are ready to sign and pass stimulus, but she's
People
got
do not love the back and forth of Washington, but this has been a roller coaster. Back in early October, you one day tweeted, no more negotiations until after Election Day. I'm walking away. Then I think the next couple of days you said, maybe we can do something targeted. Then you said, I want a big, big bill. But then Senate Republicans said, no, we're not for that. So you are the big deal maker. How come this is so, how you yourself have changed positions?
Did you ever hear of a word called negotiation?
Trump always brags about how good of a deal maker he is. He can bring sides together and get stuff done. That he can make the deals happen that no one else happens. That there's so much agreement. Remember when he was talking in his election season, of the last election season, oh, people agree on these things, but they can't get passed. And now when he's president, the House stops. The Senate blocks me. The deep state, the swamp. I can't. They're on the media. They say the Washington Post. Like, now it's everybody else's fault. Imagine marketing yourself as a businessman and blaming every other person. It's funny because anybody who's ever had a job in management in their entire life would get fucking annihilated. I couldn't imagine being a supervisor or a manager and you're talking to the guy above you and he's like, what the fuck was happening last night at your restaurant, at your store? And you're like, oh, well, I had 2 employees that were, they fucked everything. Like, the supervisor would look at you. If he doesn't fire you on the spot, he would say, hey, you're the boss. It's your fucking problem. Fix it or it's your ass, right? That's exactly what you're supposed to do as a leader. You take responsibility for things, not constantly brush it off on every single other person but yourself. Own a fucking problem. I'm assuming that if we would elect a businessman, I would see a businessman's responsibility.
Negotiating, okay?
But people's lives are hanging in the balance.
And you know who I'm negotiating against? Nancy Pelosi, because she doesn't want to give the money. We should have stimulus. This was not our people's fault. This was China's fault. And she's penalizing our people. I'm ready to sign a big, beautiful stimulus. You saw the other day, I said, go big or go home, right?
That's what
I want it to be big. I want it to be bold. I want the money to go directly to the people.
Republicans with you? They're going to go big? They're big old number?
They'll go. They're going to be very
so far, they have not said they would.
Because I haven't asked them to, because I can't get through Nancy Pelosi. Okay. If Nancy Pelosi and I, through my representatives or directly, I love
how much Nancy Pelosi gets shit on by both sides. Like, liberals, or not liberals, I'm sorry, left woke dipshits on fucking Twitter shit on Nancy Pelosi all day because they don't know how any political process works. But the actual political leaders in Congress fucking hate Nancy Pelosi. Republicans fucking hate Nancy Pelosi because how effective she is at haggling and wheeling, dealing, and whipping votes and like getting people like in line to like vote on certain legislation and shit. Oh my God, dude. Republicans in Congress fucking hate Nancy Pelosi because of how effective and ruthless she is in the House.
Here. If we agree to something, the Republicans will agree to it.
Okay. Our next question comes from, this is interesting. She voted for Clinton in 2016, but recently changed her registration from Democrat to Independent. She says she's truly undecided. Her name's Becky Lightman. Hello, Becky. What's your question?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. So corporate tax rates are a hot button issue, and you have cut corporate tax rates, and your opponent Joe Biden is planning to raise them.
Right.
A lot of Americans think that corporations don't pay their share of taxes and want to see those tax rates increase. Right. What do you say to those Americans to maybe tell them why you want the corporate tax rate lower and why that helps them?
It's a great question. We've created more jobs than this country has ever created. We're up to 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that number.
This is like saying the lifeboats on the Titanic saved more people than have ever been saved by lifeboats ever before. Like, when your ship is sinking and you're losing fucking tens of millions of jobs or whatever, yeah, you're going to bring a lot back. Like, this is so crazy. Like, after I gave him the retrovirals for HIV, he gained more white blood cell counts than he's gained in the history of entire life. He had no fucking shit, Sherlock.
Just hitting 160 million jobs. Companies are pouring into our nation because of the tax rate. And if Biden comes in and raises taxes on everybody, including middle income taxes, which he wants to do, you will blow this thing and you'll end up with a depression, the likes of which you've never had. That's what's going to happen. We have something that's really good. The reason we're coming back so strong is because we built a very strong foundation. Companies are moving in. Car companies are moving into Michigan, into Ohio, into South Carolina, and North Carolina just today. So what's happening is they're coming in because we reduced the taxes. Our taxes, our corporate taxes, were the highest in the world, and now they're among the lower taxes. They're not the lowest, but
corporate taxes suck, though, okay? For reasons that Trump may or may not understand, but corporate taxes are shit. This is true.
They're among the lowest. And what that means is jobs. But also, we're doing a very big, and we've done a very big middle-income tax package. So if we get in, we're going to do the middle-income tax package. But it's a great question. And if he comes along and raises rates, all those companies that are coming in, they will leave the U.S. so fast your head will spin. We can't let that happen.
On the subject of taxes, as you know, the New York Times has obtained, it says, years of your tax returns, among other things. It says that you have debts of approximately $421 million that you have personally guaranteed and that will come due in the next 4 years. The question is, on behalf of voters, who do you owe $421 million to?
First of all, let me answer. What they did is illegal, number one. Also, the numbers are all wrong with the numbers they released. And just so you understand, when you have a lot of real estate, I have real estate, you know a lot of it, okay? Right down the road, Doral, big stuff, great stuff. I'm very when I decided to run, I'm very under-levered, fortunately, but I'm very under-levered. I have a very, very small percentage of debt compared, in fact, some of it I did as favors to institutions that wanted to loan me money. $400 million compared to the assets that I have, all of these great properties all over the world, and frankly, the Bank of America building in San Francisco. I don't love what's happening to San Francisco.
If I hear you right, it sounds like you're saying $400 million isn't that much.
Office buildings.
But are you confirming that yes, you do owe?
I like how he's bringing up the assets that he has percent ownership of. Like, what are you going to start fucking liquidating your businesses to pay off your personal debt? Do you think that's a huge own? Like, if I was under $100 million and you're like, well, what are you going to do? Well, you know, come on, dude. I could just sell every single fucking thing I own and pay it off. Like, okay.
$100 million.
What I'm saying is that it's a tiny percentage of my net worth.
That sounds like
you'll
yes.
see that soon because we're doing things, you know, we've given, I think it's 108 or 112 pages of financial detail to elections. And, you know, we have to file as the president, as any politician, you have to file. Nobody ever looks at that. When they do, they see how incredible the company is. But more importantly, they see where this debt is. No, I don't owe Russia money. I don't owe. I owe a very, very small. It's called mortgages. Yeah. People have a house.
Any foreign bank, any foreign entity?
Not that I know of, but I will probably, because it's so easy to solve. And if you'd like to do, I will let you know who I owe whatever small amount of money. I want to say two things. Number one, it's a very small amount of money. Number two, it's very straight. It's very, very straight. But it's a tiny percentage of the worth. Did you ever hear the expression underlevered? Yeah. I'm extremely underlevered.
Well, here's the thing. You could clear this up tonight by just releasing your tax returns yourself. I mean, that's what I understand. I think people are just wondering. You're the only.
It turned out that I am underlevered.
He's going to make up the same excuse saying, well, the IRS has me under audit, so I can't release them, even though his own IRS commissioner has come out and said, no, if you want to release them, you can. He's going to use the same lie that he said over and over and over again. He will never release his taxes because they will show you that Trump is far more poor than he actually presents himself to be.
They actually, excuse me, no, but you
the IRS says that doesn't stop you from releasing.
Me of not being under audit previously, and so did other people at NBC, and I am under audit. So that was solved. That's good. I am under audit. No person in their right mind would release prior to working out the deal with the IRS. And I'll go a step further. I'm treated very badly by the IRS. They treat me very, very badly. You have people in there from previous administrations. They treat me very badly. But we're under audit. It's very routine in many ways, but we're under audit. They like to change the game, change the rules, do everything. You saw what they did with the Tea Party people. You saw what they did with the religious
groups. To be clear, there is no law or rule that prohibits you from releasing your tax returns.
Except common sense and intelligence and having lawyers that say, because I would love to release them, and as soon as we come to a conclusion, I will release them, and very gladly. But if you go to elections, and if you take a look, you'll see 112, I think it's 112. It talks about the income, which is rather massive. It talks about all of the properties. They have them listed. You can never learn more, but you know what happened? People went there. All the reporters went there. It was like a feeding frenzy. This was originally when I filed it. And I file it every year. I update it every year. My son is here. They run the company. I don't run the company.
It also says that you paid $750 in taxes in the year you were elected.
That's a statutory number. It's a statutory.
Is that true?
I think it's a filing number. You pay $750. It's a filing fee.
Most people here probably pay
more.
No,
I don't know. I can tell you this. If they have my tax returns, as you know, they have to go to jail. It's illegal. But their numbers were wrong. But let me tell you what else.
It's easy to say they're wrong when you'll never release any evidence to the contrary. If they were wrong and you know how big Trump's ego is, Trump would love to just release his taxes and prove them wrong. But he won't release his taxes because he knows that they're correct.
Don't owe money to any of these sinister people. This has been going on for years now. Russia. It turned out to be a hoax, and it turned out.
Notice he's doing the thing where he's adjusting your expectations again. Trump probably doesn't owe money to the fucking Russians. That's probably true, but he is probably way more poor than he wants you to know. So instead of arguing about whether or not he is massively leveraged on his debt or has a lot of debt coming true, instead he shifted to well, hold on, I don't owe any money to any shady people, right? That's the new expectation. He'll fight on that battleground because he's correct, and then hopefully he can convince you to forget about the fact that oh shit, I'm actually super fucking in debt. Holy shit. I might have to liquidate businesses and assets and shit to pay it off.
That Hillary Clinton and the Democrats were dealing with Russia, not me. It's a whole hoax. So I would not mind at all saying who it is, but it's a very small. When you look at vast properties like I have, and they're big and they're beautiful and they're well located, when you look at that, the amount of money, $400 million, is a peanut. It's extremely underlevered. And it's levered with normal banks. Not a big deal.
All right, let's take a break. We'll get more voter questions right after this.
Protesters feel that they need to come out.
This is rough. The lady is asking him a lot of pretty harsh questions. I'm going over the substance of his responses rather than the rhetorical effectiveness. So I'm not thinking as much do these sound good to the average voter? Right now it's coming off as incredibly negative to me, but that's just because I'm intimately familiar with a lot of what he's talking about. So I would probably have to rewatch to think I wonder if this comes off good to the average undecided voter or independent voter. I'm not sure. I do know right now that the average person in the United States does feel like they are better off economically than they were 4 years ago. I don't know why, but that is a feeling that Americans have right now. So when Trump speaks to the rebuilding of the economy and the gain in jobs or whatever, it might be that the average American does indeed feel that way. So yeah, It's always good to check like polling data. Personally, I fucking hate Trump, and almost everything he says I recognize as a lie because I'm usually familiar with the issues. But the average American doesn't go through all of his information. They don't have time to fucking scour Wikipedia and the New York Times and all these random fucking things. So yeah, it's good to like check polling or whatever to make sure that your mind is like in the right spot to understand what the average voter is thinking about. If you care what the average voter thinks about, I guess, depending on what you're looking for. Destiny, you need to understand that balancing practicality and morality is what matters. Sure, drastic measures may be effective, but restricting freedoms is a clear human rights violation, immoral. You know what else a human rights violation is? Fucking dying to a fucking virus. So you're looking at YouTube chat too, or just Twitch? I look at every chat. To the average undecided voter, how big of a deal do you think that Trump's personal finance situation bears on that big, huge expose by the New York Times will have probably almost no impact because taxes are incredibly complicated to understand. If people understood them better, I think it'd be much more funny to see how much everybody would be roasting the fuck out of Trump for his horrible fucking financial situations and the entire hilarious fucking setup of him being like, the only way that Trump makes money is by playing a businessman on TV, and the only reason he got that job is because people thought he was a good businessman, and he uses the money that he made playing a businessman on TV to make up for the fact that he's a horrible businessman in real life. That all is like very funny, but to understand that, you've got to work your way through so many levels of comprehension of like financial, like tax related information, which is a little bit complicated or past the general understanding of an American. I disagree. People hear $750 and they're mad they paid more in taxes. Maybe, but then they also hear Trump saying my business is paying millions in taxes. I paid millions in taxes. Like I don't know. It's hard. I think that these are hard issues for the average person to understand. If he's worth $2 billion, owes $455 million, how is he too poor and needs to sell assets paid off? Oh, are you agreeing with that?
He's supporting Biden. Adam, take it away.
Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Adam.
4 years ago, Senate leadership said it was inappropriate to push through a nominee in an election year. Yet they fast-tracked your nominee for the Supreme Court just today. The question I have for you is, what do you say to the voter that thinks it's hypocritical to act in that manner and that they can't trust Republicans' word?
So when I was elected and when a president is elected, they're elected for a period of 4 years. And Justice Ginsburg said it best, I think talking about President Obama having to do with somebody else, that the president is put there for 4 years, not for 3 years. So during this fourth year, it happened to come up, unfortunately, because I had great respect for Justice Ginsburg, but a vacancy happened to come up, and we picked somebody that's outstanding. She has been an absolute star, and I'm extremely proud of it. But again, plenty of time. I mean, there's plenty of time. We're going to do it before the election, but we also have much time after the election, but there's no reason to wait, because it's almost unanimous, it seems to me, certainly within the Republican Party, and frankly, most of the Democrats within closed rooms. I guarantee you that this is an outstanding person, and I'm using my fourth term. And you know, if you look at it, and if you put the shoe on the other foot, if they had this, they would do it 100%. So there's been 29 times when this has happened. All 29 times, a president has done exactly what I've done.
Can I just, to the voters' point, I'll just say that in 2016, you were on another show, actually another morning show, and you were asked whether President Obama should nominate a Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland, and you said, I think the Senate should wait until the next president and let the president pick. Now, that was 8 months before the election. This is 3 weeks before the election.
I have a lot of respect, by the way.
So you have changed your position on this.
I have a lot of respect for Judge Garland, I want to tell you that. But I'll tell you, the whole ball game changed when I saw the way they treated Justice Kavanaugh. I have never seen any human being, and I'm not just talking about Supreme Court, I have never seen a human being treated so badly with false accusations.
So not only did they block some of the investigation for the Kavanaugh stuff, Kavanaugh was also nominated and is now a Supreme Court justice. So I don't know why you would bring up Kavanaugh as somebody that you think supports your side of the argument, but okay.
And everything else, I have never seen anything like it. And you know what? The truth is, Savannah, like it or not, the ball game changed a lot. There has never been anybody treated so badly as now Justice Kavanaugh.
You've mentioned that you would like to see Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the Supreme Court in case any challenges come up in connection with the election. Yeah. Do you expect her to rule for you?
I think she'll have to make that decision. I don't think she has any conflict at all. You know, a Supreme Court judge does not have, I mean, they can make their own decision. And they actually have additional power to make that decision. It would be totally up to her. I would think that she would be able to rule either for for me or against me, but I don't see any conflict whatsoever. We have an election coming up. I think it's the most important election in the history of our country. If for any chance, and it probably won't, and I hope it doesn't ever get to the Supreme Court, but if it did, I would think that she would rule one way or the other. I would think so.
But for you think she would rule for you?
I have no idea.
I mean, of course she'll rule one way or the other, but
believe it or not, I never asked her about it. I never talked about it. I didn't talk about any of the obvious things that you could talk about. And I think a lot of people in my position might. But in speaking to a lot of very brilliant people and people that do this for a living, they say it's better not to talk. So I talked to her about life. I talked to her about the fact, would you like to do this? Are you willing to do this? Because it's a tremendous burden. The answer was yes. She's unbelievably well qualified, but I never spoke to her about these various questions.
let's get our next voter. She's leaning to you, Mr. President. She voted for you in 2016. She is a registered Republican. Her name is Mariah Green. Mariah, what's your question?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm honored to be with you here tonight, sir, so thank you. I'm a pro-life millennial, and my question for you today is, if Roe v. Wade is ultimately overturned in the future, what protections would be put in place or kept for where the mother's life is in jeopardy in relation to high-risk pregnancies?
Well, again, I'm not ruling on this, and Roe v. Wade is something that a lot of people would say, obviously, you're going to speak to somebody. I also, two other great justices, Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, I never spoke to them about Roe v. Wade. I never spoke to them about election laws. I never spoke to them about anything. And I've done the right thing from a moral standpoint. I don't even know from a legal standpoint, but it was the right thing. I think, depending on what happens with Roe v. Wade, I think that perhaps it could get sent down to the states, and the states would decide. I also think perhaps nothing will happen. I have not talked to her about it. I think it would be inappropriate to talk to her about it. And some people would say you can talk to her about it. I just think it would be inappropriate.
But what is your preference? Because it agreed, that's not something you should talk to the judge about. But would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
I would like to see a brilliant jurist, a brilliant person who has done this in great depth and has actually skirted this issue for a long time, make a decision. And that's why I chose her. I think that she's going to make a great decision. I did not tell her what decision to make, and I think it would be inappropriate to say right now, because I don't want to do anything to influence her. I want her to get approved, and then I want her to go by the law, and I know she's going to make a great decision for our country.
But you running as a pro-life Republican, most pro-life Republicans would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned and abortion banned.
Many of them would.
What do
Perhaps
you think?
most of them would. I am telling you, I don't want to do anything to influence anything right now. I don't want to go out tomorrow and say, oh, he's trying to give her a signal, because I didn't speak to her about it. I've done the right thing in so doing. How she's going to rule, you're going to find out perhaps, or you might not find out. I mean, it may never get there. It may never get there. We'll see what happens.
All right. We have another question. This is Cindy Velez. She is undecided. She says she's leaning to Biden, and she did vote for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Democrat. Hi, Cindy. What's your question?
Good evening, Savannah. Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
As the mother of a young male...
Technically, they were asking him what law he would prefer to pass, not how the Supreme Court would rule, but he just kept pivoting back to the Supreme Court, so I don't know.
...of color, I have raised him to respect authority, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also out of fear that he may face profiling or be considered a criminal. As an educator, I've also had similar conversations with my high school students. Mr. President, what will you and your administration do to better prepare our law enforcement officers to work in collaboration with the communities that they serve, and also to protect the lives of innocent Black and Latinos from police brutality and injustice?
Right. I fully understand the question, and I saw everything that you saw over the summer, and it was a terrible thing, terrible thing to watch. We were very strongly, we have a senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina. He came up with a bill that should have been approved. It was great. It was a bill that was strong in terms of law enforcement and strong in terms of enforcing the proper thing and doing the proper thing by law enforcement. And the Democrats just wouldn't go for it. They wouldn't go for it at all. And I don't know why, because it was a really great bill. But I do have to say this. And some people don't like it when I say it, but a lot of people agree. I have done more for the African-American community than any president, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln. Criminal justice reform, reform, prison reform, historically black colleges and universities. I got them funded. They were on a year-to-year basis. They could have been put out of business. As soon as our country had a little bad year, they would have said, I'm sorry, we're not going to fund you. I got them 10-year funding and financing, and more than I even asked for. I became very friendly with a lot of the heads. But we've done more, and of course, opportunity zones. But criminal justice reform, everybody said it could not be done. President Obama and Biden never even tried to do it. They never even tried. But I say that, and I say it often, I'll say it loud, and I'm very proud of it. And I have a great relationship because of what I've done with the African-American community. I'm very proud of it.
Let's go to our next question. We have Paulette Dale. She leans slightly to Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Republican. Paulette, what's your question?
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
I have to say, you have a great smile.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
I'm cringing.
You're so handsome when you smile. Okay. As the daughter of immigrants to the United States who fled Eastern Europe due to religious persecution, the United States immigration policies are very personal for me.
Right.
Surveys show that most Americans and the majority of Republicans support the Dreamers program. So my question for you, Mr. President, is if you are elected to a second term, do you expect to pursue your previous efforts to cut the DACA program?
Yeah.
Why or why not?
And the DACA is somewhat different than Dreamers. You understand that, and you understand it better than anybody probably in this room. Where do you come from, by the way, originally? Where?
My grandparents were from Russia and Poland.
That's very good. Okay. So we are going to take care of DACA. We're going to take care of Dreamer. It's working right now. We're negotiating different aspects of immigration and immigration law. We've built now over 400 miles of border wall, southern border. Mexico's working very closely with us. We have the strongest border we've ever had. We want people to come into our country. They have to come in legally. But we are working very hard on the DACA program, and you will be, I think, very happy over the course of the next year.
Thank you.
Because I feel the same way as you do about it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
no
in
answer
point
at
of
all.
fact, the DACA program, there are, under your administration, no new applicants are allowed. And in fact, the DACA recipients now have to renew every year as opposed to every 2 years. So in fact, the DACA program has been curtailed by your administration.
Well, what happened is because of the pandemic, much changed on the immigration front. Mexico is heavily infected, as you know, and we've made it very, very difficult to come in because of the pandemic and other reasons, and crime. But we have a very strong border right now, and we have to keep it that way. But we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a merit system, and they have to come in legally. And people are very, very happy with it. You haven't heard any complaints about that. But what happened is because of the pandemic, we have to be extra cautious.
You have been promising this immigration bill since, well, at least July, when you told my colleague on Telemundo it was coming, but nothing's come yet.
It's very happy. The fact is, we got rid of catch and release, which is a disaster. You know, you catch somebody, they could be a murderer, they could be a rapist, and we're supposed to release them into our country. These are the laws that I inherited. We ended that program. Now, I think you're going to see something very, very good. The whole immigration, if you look at what's going on, people used to pour into our country, and especially during the pandemic. I think even you, Savannah, will be very impressed.
Sir, we have about 30 seconds left. I think about people sitting out there tonight. There are some who love you. Some of them are sitting right around here, and some who will never vote for you. But there are people in the middle. There are people who aren't sure.
That's right.
There are people who want to know why they should give you a second chance and how you might improve in a second term. 30 seconds. What would you say to them?
Because they've done a great job. We had the strongest economy in the world. We closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon, and our economy is strong. We are at a level with jobs like we've never been before. We've rebuilt our military. We've rebuilt our borders. We had no borders. We had no nothing. We've rebuilt so much. We've given you the greatest tax cut in the history of our country, greatest regulation cut, equally as important. And we created new levels of jobs that nobody thought was possible. And next Next year is going to be better than ever before.
I got to leave it there. I got a wrap from the control room. Mr. President, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to the voters' questions. That concludes our town hall. We do want to thank the president again.
Should we watch the Joe Biden town hall?
You're a Republican who's voted for Democrats, but you're not sure what you're going to do this time around. Correct?
Correct. Greetings.
And welcome to our town hall.
Vice President.
Okay, let me get a drink real fast. Hold on, it's fucking hot. All right. We're gonna 1.5 this. Wait, I'm gonna let some donations play. Real quick, corporate taxes suck because it's just not a good. You'd rather just. I think it's better to probably just tax personal income at higher rates and keep the corporate tax pretty low. It's just a better way of like getting money out of people. Taxing a corporation can pass the cost on to consumers, can hurt all of the employees. It's better to just have individual income taxes higher and then keep the corporate taxes lower. Okay, hold on. Let me. I'm just gonna play through some of these donations because there's a huge queue, and I'll just flush some out and answer questions.
Look, Terry's a vampire at the tree. I should go warm. Oh, look, there's something shiny.
You gnome fuck!
Good one.
I'd got to say in my message. I don't know what to say. Yeah, you. Him gonna kick Trump's fucking ass. Cool face. Boxing glove.
Good one, dude.
First live stream him seeing of you, Destiny. Getting into and loving your videos / channel lately. Much love, man, keep it up.
You gnome fuck!
I didn't realize bitch chat was a banned phrase. It's still the truth, but I won't write it in d.gg. Ye laugh. Destiny put the Biden town hall in the background muted to boost ratings. Thanks.
Someone said, and how do you tax people who have paid such low income but are paid in large amounts of capital like stock? You just raise the capital gain rates if you want, but as long as you're not selling the stock, I don't see what you would pay taxes on. If you haven't realized a gain, if you haven't sold something, then yeah, fuck it. All right.
At Destiny, what do you think about the WHO flipping on their position on lockdowns?
Haven't read anything about that yet.
Elbow cough here. I've noticed that you look directly at the camera without a mask on Destiny. Do you know when you touched Trump's Bible? My first ban angel thump. Thank you for delivering me from being the cringe lord alt-righter I was to now being pretty much fully aligned with your views. Thanks man, love you.
You gnome fuck!
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey 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 hey, I said hey, what's going on?
Stop stuffing your fat fucking mouth.
Fascism 2020.
Because I'm putting 100%.
Next D. Here. Lord Trump looking thick, solid and tight.
Wait, oh my god! Wait, how long have I been talking to my fucking muted shit?
In YouTube chatted
Wait, I've been talking for like fucking
here.
hours!
Incoming home Twitch chat.
What the fuck? Wait, how long did I mute for? How are you guys not all spamming muted in my chat? I don't even know what I've been talking about. It's not been 2 minutes, it's been like 30 seconds. Oh, wait. Has it been since I sat down again, or was it just over the past like 30 seconds or whatever? Oh wait, I can just check my YouTube out actually. Fuck it, hold on. No.
Next D.
Okay, I muted to eat my food.
Your views directly at the.
As long as you're not selling the stock, I don't see what you would pay taxes on. If you haven't realized your game, if you haven't sold something, then okay, yeah, fine. Alright, that's fair.
At Destiny, what do you think about the WHO flipping on their position on lockdowns?
Oh, I don't know. Didn't read about it. Haven't read anything about it yet.
Elbow cough here. I've noticed that you look directly at the camera without a mask on Destiny. Do you know when you touched Trump's Bible?
Good one.
My first ban angel thump.
Good one.
Thank you for delivering me from being the cringe lord outright I was to now being pretty much fully aligned with your views. Thanks man, love you.
You can know fuck!
And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, 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 I said, hey, what's going on? Fascism 2020. Next D.
Good one.
Here.
Oh fuck! What I think? Fuck! I think I was just talking about corporate. I don't think that like raising or lowering taxes on corporations helps with like job growth. I don't think that giving corporations more money makes them hire more people. I don't think I buy that. I don't think that's ever been proven. I think that's all I really talked about. Okay. Jesus Christ! All right. What else? Sorry.
Biden is going to have the second largest electoral landslide victory in American history.
Oh, thanks, Hector.
Biden has Texas and Florida. Chat too busy watching Trump be a dumb fuck to realize him a dumb fuck. Help me, ooh. Because of Donald's misinformation, America had to deal with understanding scientific theory in real time. When Donnie supporters backed into a corner regarding the response, I get a commie response of people die. Los Angeles 57 days for COVID results.
Because of Donald's misinformation, America had to deal with understanding something in real time.
Nancy seems like she's preventing people from getting the help they need and making it seem like it's her/Dems' fault. Would like to hear your version.
It's just Congress negotiations. It all depends on who gets blamed for what. Like, I mean, both sides want things, both sides give things, like...
Love you, babe.
Okay, we're almost through. We got like 6 more, okay?
It's BS you lost your sub button. Take this and keep the discussion going.
Thanks.
/raid. That's tiny.
Fuck Trump.
Shut the fuck up.
Destiny,
Ruben,
proof
right?
that even
It's a
left-leaning
stupid
people
fucking
realize that
meme.
tax cuts boost GDP in the short run. We don't care about GDP though. I don't think that's the be-all and end-all of economic indicators, right?
Well, I tell you what, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Joe Biden, take a look at my record, man. Joe Biden. I know a lot of weed smokers. Joe Biden.
You gnome fuck!
Why'd people happy?
Okay.
You gnome fuck!
Destiny, people go in pairs at stop signs, you're right.
Thank you.
Bonus meme, ooh. Would you recommend getting into online politics as a content creator, or do you think for someone of average emotional capacity it's too toxic?
Way too toxic. But it's fun if you like screaming at people. Okay, we're gonna listen to this now. Good luck. I'm pausing donations, so...
Joe Biden, can he seize the moment and secure their vote? Live from the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia, this special edition of 2020, the Vice President and the People. Now reporting, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
And welcome to our town hall with Joe Biden. Mr. Vice President, welcome to you.
Good to be with you.
We're here with a group of Pennsylvania voters. You can see they're all appropriately socially distanced tonight. And they're a group of, some are voting for you. Some have said they're voting for President Trump. Some are still undecided. And we're going to try to take questions from as many of them as we can tonight. And we're going to start with Nicholas Fedden. He's from Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. That's close to here in Philadelphia. You're a Democrat.
I am a Democrat. Thank you, George. Mr. Vice President, every day my wife and I are in disbelief at the lack of coordinated federal...
aren't the riots the most important issue right now? No, I think Americans are way more focused on the economy than anything related to the protests and the riots. Like, that's like a very quick in and out news thing. I think the economy is the central focus of most Americans right now. And then tangentially related, COVID-19, because it's affecting the economy so much.
Action on COVID-19. We know that your administration would follow the science. My question for you is 2 parts. First, looking backwards to when this country first became aware of COVID-19, what would following the science have meant in terms of actual policy? And then, looking forward, what would your administration do in terms of following the science with real concrete policies that haven't been done by the current administration? Well, first of all, going back, the fact is that
This is an unbelievably fucking easy question, and it's almost not even fair to ask. Now that you have perfect 2020 hindsight, what would you go back and do differently to deal with the pandemic? Well, I mean, now that I know everything that's happened, and now that I know exactly what we should have done in the perfect, like, this is it's a pretty softball-y question. Where the fuck is the My Computer thing at? Why do I feel like I get these massive updates? Wait, does My Computer exist anymore? Computer. Jesus. Okay. Fucking Christ. Sorry.
President was informed how dangerous this virus was. And all the way back in the beginning of February, I argued that we should be keeping people in China. And we had set up in our administration a pandemic office within the White House. There were 44 people on the ground. I suggested we should be seeking, and I didn't hold public office. I was a former vice president. I suggested we, in fact, ask to have access to the source of the problem. And to the best of our knowledge, Trump never pushed that. All those 44 people came home, never got replaced. In addition to that, I pointed out that I thought in February, I did a piece for USA Today saying, this is a serious problem. Trump denied it. He said it wasn't. We later learned that he knew full
well how serious it was when he did an interview with Bob Woodward. And at the time, he said he didn't tell anybody because he was afraid Americans would panic. Americans don't panic. He panicked. He didn't say a word to anybody. Then I wrote a piece in March about what I thought we should be doing to take hold of this, using there's an act that's passed a long time ago that allows the president to go into a business and say, stop making this and start making that. And it took a long time for him to even institute that, to get ventilators and so on. And so the point was, he missed enormous opportunities and kept saying things that weren't true. It's going to go away by Easter. Don't worry about it. It's going to all, when the summer comes, it's all going to go away like a miracle. He's still saying those things.
Before you go to the future, can I follow up on looking backward just a little bit? You did have an op-ed in January where you warned to the seriousness of the pandemic, but there's no record of you calling for social distancing, limited social gatherings, mandatory masks.
Not back then.
In January, February.
No, in January, February. No, that's correct. There wasn't. That came at the end of March, and then I laid out a detailed plan relative to school openings in June and July, and I talked about, by that time, the science was becoming clearer and clearer of how this was spreading so rapidly. But the president kept denying that. If you notice, from March on, I stopped doing big meetings. I started wearing masks. So it was at a time when the science was saying, and his key people, Dr. Fauci, were saying, you should be taking these precautions. So what we should be doing now is there should be a national standard instead of leaving this up. And remember what the president said to the governors. Well, they're on their own. It's not my responsibility. The governors can do what they need to do. Not my responsibility. It is a presidential responsibility to lead. And he didn't do that. He didn't talk about what needed to be done because he kept worrying, in my view, about the stock market. He worried if he talked about how bad this could be unless we took these precautionary actions, then in fact the market would go down. And his barometer of success in the economy is the market. Thirdly, what we didn't do is the president had an opportunity to open and allow schools and businesses to stay open if they got the kind of help they needed. So the Congress passed a couple $1 trillion worth of help, and what happened was most of that money, significant portion of that money, went to the very wealthiest corporations in the country, didn't get to the mom and pop stores. So you had 1 in 5, 1 in 6 minority businesses closing, many of them permanently, people being laid off. And then what happened was when the first tranche of the first round of money for unemployment, enhanced unemployment, went by, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything.
Okay, even though this is a really easy question, this is a really, really, really good answer. I think he's covering all of his bases really well.
And to the best of my knowledge, and I mean this sincerely, I can't think, I've been around for a lot of presidents, and you know a lot of presidents in a crisis. I don't ever remember one never calling the House and Senate, Republicans and Democrats together.
Let's look forward a little bit. You said that you would lock down the economy only if the scientists said it was necessary.
Well, by the way, that wasn't the context. They said, well, I lock down the economy if science said so. I said I'd follow science. But I don't think there's a need to lock down.
But I want to press you on that point. Sure. You've been in the Oval Office for 8 years with President Obama. He would always say that only the hard to solve problems get to his desk. What is most likely to happen is the scientists will disagree. The scientists will disagree with the economists. So the question is, how are you going to decide this? Who are you going to listen to? And how can you contain the pandemic without crushing the economy?
Well, you can contain the pandemic by being rational and not crush the economy. For example, I laid out a plan how you can open businesses. You can open businesses and schools if, in fact, you provide them the guidance that they need as well as the money to be able to do it. What's happening now is we know, for example, if you can open a business and you could have a sign on the door saying safe to come in, that's why people aren't going anyway when they're open, and say because you have social distancing, you have plastic barriers, when you go to the cashier, you have separators between the booths, you don't have large crowds, you reduce the size, the number of people you can have in the restaurant, you make sure there's testing. That's a really critical piece that he didn't do, testing and tracing, and you make sure that people are equipped going to schools. You know, the government initially said they're going to provide masks for every student and every teacher. Then they said, no. FEMA said, the president or whomever said, no, that's not a national emergency. Not a national emergency. We need more teachers in our schools to be able to open smaller pods. We need ventilation systems changed. There's a lot of things we know now. And I laid them out in some detail. Now, again, when I say I laid them out, I'm not an office holder. I'm running for office. It's not like I'm still vice president or I was a United States senator pushing this. So I don't want to say I. But we did lay out exactly what needed to be done. And take a look. We make up 4% of the world's population. We have 20% of the world's deaths. We're in a situation where we have 210,000+ people dead. And what's he doing? Nothing. He's still not wearing masks and so on.
We're getting some more questions on COVID. Sure. The next one comes from Kelly Lee. She's from Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Republican. Voted for Donald Trump in 2016. Undecided now?
Hey, Kelly, how are you?
Hi, Mr. Biden. My question is about the coronavirus vaccine, or potential. Senator Harris stated that she absolutely would not take a vaccine from President Trump. And of course, we all know it's not President.
To be clear, that's half true. Kamala Harris said that she would trust a vaccine from the scientists, but that she wouldn't take one just from Trump, is what she said. I think that was a horrible fucking answer by Kamala Harris. I don't agree that that's how we should approach public policy, especially not public medical policy, but she did kind of make that distinction. But we'll see how Biden picks up the slack here.
Trump that would create this vaccine. It would be doctors and scientists that presumably we all trust. So my question for you is, if a vaccine were approved between now and the end of the year, would you take it? And if you were to become president, would you mandate that everyone has to take it?
Two things. Number one, President Trump talks about things that just aren't accurate about everything from vaccines, we're going to have one right away, it's going to happen, and so on. The point is that if the body of scientists say that this is what is ready to be done, and it's been tested, it's gone through the 3 phases.
How is that a bad answer? If all the scientists are saying don't take this, it's not approved, but Trump rams it through, isn't the rational thing not take it? Because Trump can't make a vaccine. I don't think Trump has the power to ram it through. There would be so many like klaxons blaring from people in, I think, like the NIH or the CDC or any of the number of other like pharmaceutical companies or people involved in testing or researchers. There are so many different levels of people that are required to be synchronized in order to get vaccine produced, like the formula created and then the distribution, everything necessary. The idea that Trump could like unilaterally just do that, when I don't think that would happen. I just don't think it's possible. So for her to say like, oh, I wouldn't take a vaccine from Trump is just a little bit irresponsible. It sounds like Biden's going to give a better answer, I think, but let's see. Wouldn't he just have to ram it through the FDA for the sake of approval? Distribution would totally have multiple layers. Well, it's not just for approval though, right? You would have to get a pharmaceutical company that was willing to take on the risk of a vaccine that was showing like bad shit and like trials and shit. Like, and then there would be so many researchers involved that like, I feel like there would be so many people. I feel like there'd be so many people that could sound the alarms for this. I don't think it would work, but.
Yes, I would take it. I'd encourage people to take it. But President Trump says things like, everything from this crazy stuff he's walking away from now, inject bleach in your arm, and that's going to work. I'm not being facetious. He's actually said these things. And now Regeneron is the answer. That's going to cure everything. There's 500,000 doses. We've got a couple, we have more than a few million people. And most of the, if you notice, most of the companies who are developing these vaccines are working, they're making real progress. I meet with 4 leading scientists at least twice a week in the beginning, 4 times a week, giving us the detail on what kind of progress is being made. And right now, they do the right thing. When they run into a serious problem, they halt the test. They don't continue until they figure out what the problem was. They're not there yet. And the most scientists say it's not likely to have a vaccine that would be available until the beginning of next year, into the spring of next year. And in the meantime, what I worry about is the same thing with Regeneron, which is a useful a useful tool. But what's happening is there was no plan to figure out how to distribute it. How many, we have 500,000, vials of it. Well, we don't have all the testing equipment. We don't have all the ability to get it to the people who need it. And what we should be doing now, and allegedly it's happening, but I've not seen it yet, nor the docs that I've talked to have seen it, there should be a plan when we have the vaccine. How do we distribute it?
And once we get it, if it's safe, if it's effective, will you mandate its use?
The answer is, depending on how clear. There's vaccines, they say, have a very positive impact, and they're going to affect positively 85% of the American public.
I would be shocked if the United States executive branch could enforce a law that mandates a vaccine. There's no way that's constitutional. I would be shocked if that were the case. I don't know if Apple is, or Pisco, or Esports Batman, or any of our resident lawyers are in chat. That sounds impossible, but I could be wrong. Obviously, I could be wrong on anything related to constitutional law, but.
There's others say this vaccine is really the key. This is the golden key. It depends on the state of the nature of the vaccine, when it comes out, and how it's being distributed. That would depend on. But I would think that we should be talking about, depending on the continuation of the spread of the virus, we should be thinking about making it mandatory.
How could you enforce that?
Well, you couldn't. That's the problem. Just like you can't enforce measles. You can't come to school unless you have a measles shot. You can't. But you can't say everyone has to.
There are vaccines mandated for school. Schools are publicly funded. So in public schools, they can mandate vaccines. So could they mandate it in general? I could see them mandating it to go to school, but to mandate it in general, I'm not sure. I just don't know.
Do this. But you would, just like you can't mandate a mask. But you can say, you can go to every governor and get them all in a room, all 50 of them as president, and say, ask people to wear the mask. Everybody knows.
And if they don't, fine.
And they don't, no, not fine. Then I go to every governor, I go to every mayor, I go to every councilman, I go to every local official. Say, mandate the mask. Say, this is what you have to do when you're out. Make sure you encourage it being done. Look, George, you and I know, and I think you do too as well, the words of a president matter.
Absolutely.
No matter whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they matter. And when a president doesn't wear a mask or makes fun of folks like me when I was wearing a mask for a long time, then, people say, well, it mustn't be that important. But when a president says, I think this is very important, for example, I walked in here with this mask, but I have one of the M95.
I love that he's hitting this answer on this is like one of the best Biden answers I've ever heard in my entire life. I don't know if he fucking sacrificed some cow or whatever and summoned himself back from 10 years ago, but he's hit this on the policy level, and now he's hitting it on a personal level, right? How would I do this by policy? We would meet with a lot of senators, we do this, blah, 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 or not senators, I'm sorry, governors, mayors, blah, 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 and now he's hitting it on a personal level. The words of a president matter. Our rhetoric is important. If we wear a mask or whatever. I like that he's doing a multifaceted attack on this answer. Is really, really, really good. Makes me wonder if they were given the questions. Wait, were they given the questions ahead of time on this? It seems like it. The answer to this is so well prepared. I wonder if they were. I don't know if that's released officially or not or whatever, but
5 mask underneath it.
Interesting that he's not getting any pushback from the interviewer, contrasted with the Trump town hall. Well, the thing is that for Biden, it's going to be a lot harder to push back on him because he's the prospective candidate. Like he's somebody that wants to be president. They don't really have anything to criticize Biden on except maybe his 8 years as vice president. But like Trump has 4 years in office now, which have gone pretty disastrously. So it's harder for Trump to answer questions because he's going to be attacked on his record. It's a lot harder to hit Biden for his record because he hasn't been president. You can go by like 8 years as vice president. But also nothing Biden has said so far has like been very controversial, right? Whereas like Trump is trying to make up numbers related to like, oh, well, the fatality rate is this or blah, 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 or whatever, or, you know, the Russians and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But yeah, this isn't a very surprising question. He should have an answer prepared for this anyway. Yeah, sure. Disastrously, it's been a very stable and successful presidency up until the virus. CWG and YouTube chat, you are absolutely fucking insane if you think that the current leadership of the United States of America is viewed as stable by any singular country in the entire world. We have lost the faith of every Western country in the world. Angela Merkel was speaking in front of the EU talking about how we can't rely on the US anymore. We've lost alliances with people in fucking Australia, with people in Canada, Trudeau, people that say that they've lost faith in the United States. Trump couldn't even fucking name the fucking Mexican president when he was talking about that country. We have undermined our relationship with NATO. We've undermined our relationship with the UN. We have abandoned our allies in the Middle East. The idea that we've pulled out of like historic treaties that we've made with other countries for nuclear deals. We have empowered and emboldened countries like North Korea or Saudi Arabia when they kill stability is not a word that any sane human being would ever, and that's just foreign policy. Domestically, we've rolled back a mandate related to our healthcare that ensured that an additional 10 million Americans got insurance. We have rescinded things like DACA or Dreamer Acts that have made it so that a lot of Americans that are in the United States don't know if they're going to be welcome here in a year or two. Economically, we've been doing pretty good. I don't know how much like credit Trump gets for the economy. I don't know if Trump is the reason why like Amazon and Facebook and Google and everybody do as well. But like this idea that we've been like a super stable country, insurance they can't afford. Obamacare was total trash and you know it. Obamacare kind of sucked. But I mean, it's because it was the negotiated position. That's where we wound up at. Obamacare is better than what we had before. The 10 plus million Americans that got insured that didn't have insurance before Obamacare, or the people that held insurance, because there's a lot of provisions related to the Affordable Care Act that also improved currently existing insurance that you don't know about as well. For example, so not only things like pre-existing conditions, but making it so that insurance companies had to provide minimum levels of care for things. That if you have insurance, that they're guaranteed to provide you like certain levels of minimum health care that a lot of people didn't have before. Or the idea that insurance companies had to actually pay out, not premiums, but pay out like for costs of medical procedures that they initially would try to weasel out of. There were a lot of other provisions in the ACA that were really positive as well. Has healthcare become more expensive in the United States? Absolutely. Did the ACA go far enough? Absolutely not. But was rescinding the mandate for the ACA to sit there and watch it fail so we can go back to the horrible system that we had before? Was that a step in the right direction? Of course not. Repeal and replace was the slogan of the Republican Party for the 6 years leading up to Trump's election in office in 2017. Repeal and replace, repeal and replace. That's what we heard over and over again. And all we got was a repeal. We have not replaced it with anything. So don't sit here and pretend like fucking Republicans did anything good for healthcare. You're just totally fucking dishonest if you believe that.
In my dressing room, the room I was in before I got here. And so I think it matters what we say. And we're now learning that children are getting the virus, not with as serious consequences. But there's been no studies done yet on vaccines for children. So there's a long way to go, but we can make progress in the meantime and save lives. And the last point I'll make, if you listen to the head of the CDC, he stood up and he said, you know, while we're waiting for a vaccine, he held up a mask. You wear this mask, you'll save more lives between now and the end of the year than if we had a vaccine. It's estimated by every major study done, from the University of Washington to Columbia, that if, in fact, we wore masks, we could save between now and the end of the year 100,000 lives.
And avoid lockdowns?
And avoid lockdown, yes. You don't have to lock down if you're wearing the mask.
Let's get a question on the economy. Anthony Argyrakis.
Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
From Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a suburb of Pittsburgh, Republican.
I know
for President Trump.
Merkel is salty, therefore Orange Man bad. You realize that people that have Trump derangement syndrome, you're just as stupid as them when you try to dismiss every single valid criticism of Trump as Orange Man bad, right? Like, you're literally, when you do that, you're going, Orange Man good, actually. Like, that's your response, right? Because I'm pretty sure that everything I just gave you was a pretty fair attack on Trump's administration. I think all of my criticisms are fair. And for you to respond with Orange Man bet, really what you're saying is Orange Man good. If that's all you want to think, that's fine, dude. I'm sure that there's a huge line of people who want to throw Daddy Trump's 3-inch fucking dick. If that's what you want to do, go out and do it. But don't sit here and try to act like you're engaging in good faith conversation in my chat. There's plenty of communities online that are full of other 75 IQ fucking Neanderthals that you can go drag your knuckles across the fucking dirt with. I mean, like, why do it in here?
Thank you, George. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You stated that anyone making less than $400,000 will not see one single penny of their taxes raised. But also state that you are going to eliminate the Trump tax cuts. The Trump tax cuts reduces taxes for the majority of workers. I would argue not enough. What is your plan for either extending the tax cuts for the middle class or creating a new plan that further reduces those taxes?
I carry this card with me. When I said the Trump tax cuts, about $1.3 trillion of the $2 trillion in his tax cuts went to the top 1/10 of 1%.
Look at this. What are you doing? Destiny is so wrong. Trump ain't perfect, but he's the best we've had since the 80s. No wars. American come first. Trump, Destiny is the one screaming dead government. What do you mean, no wars? Like, how much have we done in terms of military activity? We tried to take over Syria's oil fields and run them for a bit. We abandoned our allies, the Kurdish people, the Middle East. We bombed a fucking Syrian airport. We bombed the fuck out of an airport in response to chemical weapons attacks. We assassinated the leader of a foreign, intelligence service military, Soleimani, on Iraqi soil. We continue to support the Saudis. We make massive arms deals with them as we continue to drone strike the fuck out of Yemeni citizens. Where are you getting this idea? No wars. Like, you're delusional, dude. Like, who do you get your fucking news from? Go look up anything that I just talked about. None of this is even controversial.
That's what I'm talking about eliminating, not all the tax cuts that are out there. And by the way, if you just take a look, we reduced the corporate tax rate from 35%, and Democrats and Republicans who were in office thought it should come down to 28%. He reduced it to 21%. You have 91 out of every of the Fortune 500 companies not paying a single solitary penny. If you raise the corporate tax just back to 28%, which is a fair tax, you'd raise $1.3 trillion by that one act. If you made sure the people making over 400 grand paid what they did in the Bush administration, 39.6%, you would raise another, it goes up to, let me get the exact number here.
Anybody that uses the term TDS or Trump derangement syndrome is acknowledging that they have no defenses for this leader, okay? I just want to say that but also, I like it because it's also like a very easy litmus test to find out if I think you are a fucking retard. Like, it's so easy that if you're gonna sit here and go on all these tradcon YouTube channels talking about how incels are real and fucking all the social issues are being destroyed and we need strong, good men like Trump, and your leader is a guy that had to make hush money payments to a fucking porn star that he was fucking behind his wife's back, his third wife's back, that he imported from some Eastern European country because no woman fluent in English could stand to be in the same fucking room as him for more than 4 hours at a time. That's your guy that you go to, and then you accuse other people of having Trump derangement syndrome? That shit is fucking hilarious to me, dog. Keep up the great work.
Another $92 billion. So you can raise a lot of money to be able to invest in things that can make your life easier. Make you change your standard of living by making sure you have affordable health care, by making sure you're in a situation where you're able to send your kid to school, and if you have a student debt, you can deal with it, making sure that you're home, you can pay your mortgage. You got 20 million people right now.
Mr. Vice President, let me press you on that, though. Sure. You're going to raise the corporate tax, you're going to raise taxes on the wealthy. Is it wise to do even that when the economy is as weak as it is right now? Another 900,000 people.
That's a great question. Moody's did detailed analysis of my tax plan and my economic plan. They said, I will in 4 years, Moody's, Wall Street, said I will create 18.6 million new jobs, good-paying jobs, number one. Number two, and I'll increase, the GDP will grow by $1 trillion more than it would under Trump and 7 million more jobs than under Trump. And the reason is when you allow people to get back in the game and have a job, everything moves. Everything moves. Right now, you got the opposite. You had last year, during this pandemic, you had the wealthiest billionaires in the world, in the nation. They made another $700 billion. $700 billion. He talks about a V-shaped recovery. It's a K-shaped recovery. If you're on the top...
I like you, Destiny, but you're literally playing it faster just to hide how slow and inept Biden is at speaking, man. I'm playing it faster because we don't need to sit here because everybody speaks slowly. I played the Trump one just as fast, my dude. Were you missing the first part? I could play this at speed. Maybe Biden speaks slowly for people like you to understand it. I mean, if you don't understand, we can play Biden at his normal, 2 mile an hour talking speed, if that's...
You're going to do very well.
There you go.
And the other thing
maybe this is better for you.
Or you're in the middle or the bottom, your income is coming down. You're not getting a raise. I don't know what you do. You may get a raise. Hope you're a billionaire. But all kidding aside, but it's about growing the economy. And George, the way out, the reason why I'm so optimistic about economic recovery, more than I've ever been, is we have these 4 crises happening all at once, and one helps the other. For example, we're going to invest a great deal of that money into infrastructure. And into a green infrastructure. We're going to put 500,000 charging stations on new highways we're building and old highways we're building. We're going to own the electric market. You know as well as I do from your days, in the old days, where the president spends about $600 billion a year on government contracts. Everything from making sure they have aircraft carriers to automobile fleets in the United States. if you make and we can, and it's not violation of any international trade agreement, made in America. If you actually insist that whatever that product is, made in America, including the material that goes into the product, it's estimated we're going to create somewhere between another 4 and 6 million jobs just by doing that. But what's happening now under his trade policy? A lot of this is going overseas. You get a benefit from going overseas if you have much of it being made overseas. So if you send it overseas, you get a 10% tax increase on your on the product. If you make it in America and you bring it back, you get a 10% growth. If you bring back a company and you're going to open up an old facility, you get a 10% tax credit for all you invested. That actually works, George.
So there's not going to be any delay on the tax increases.
This doesn't work. Fuck protection is bullshit, okay? Listen, take advantage of comparative advantages between countries. If other people are better at manufacturing shit, just focus on what we do better. Fuck this idea about bringing back manufacturing jobs. It's never going to fucking happen. We're never bringing back these. Fuck that bullshit, okay? Fuck this dumbass trade policy. But
oh, well, I got to get the votes. I got to get the votes. That's why, you know, the one thing that I have this strange notion. We are a democracy. Some of my Republican friends and some of my Democratic friends even occasionally say, well, if you can't get the votes by executive order, you're going to do something. Things you can't do by executive order unless you're a dictator. We're a democracy. We need consensus.
Got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I hope I answered your question.
We the people of the United States.
And making sure you start your day off with a smile.
Answers the most informed.
Oh, wait. Well, now that we're on break, what do we got for donos?
It seems like Nancy would do better by sending something basic to McConnell and force him to either pass it good or reject it politically.
Democrats have been doing that for years. It doesn't help. Nobody cares about legislation that dies on the House floor. Or not, I guess you wouldn't say dies on the House floor. It gets to McConnell's desk and is never heard. It doesn't seem to matter at all.
You gnome fuck!
Stephen?
Hello. Okay, pausing this again.
Forces from all sides. The countdown is on to the vote. What will our future look like? ABC's This Week with George. It all plays out right here every Sunday.
The most consequential week.
Oh, shit. I should be doing my own commercials. You're right. Hey, did you know that if you go to my website at destiny.gg/embed/chat, if you're a YouTube sub and you sign in here, your sub will be reciprocated in my chat. Look, you get to talk with all these cool people in a more stable, cool chat without all the batshit insane Republicans that are invading my fucking YouTube chat. How cool is that? Also, Destiny, did you watch the grading video I sent you? Oh, are you the guy that emailed me? No, but I have it queued up. Wait, which one is it? Grading is capitalist conditioning. You emailed me this one, right? I'll probably watch it today. Wow, you can sub on my website and, oh yeah, oh look, and buy my merchandise here. Do you want to let people know that you're politically informed, that you have the right opinions, that you're an omni-liberal? Then say no more, my friend. Walk around in an I'm shrooming shirt, and people will know that your brain is so fucking big, it produces so much goddamn heat from the mitochondria powering the fucking transmissions between your neurons that your brain is literally fucking melting your head. Let other people know how intelligent you are. Go and buy my merchandise. That's all I got for now. Look at all these cute. Look at this. Look at how cool this guy is. God, he's got tats and everything, man. That's a real life model with my real life shirt on. How based. Okay, back to this.
Weekend of this hyper-political year.
Right as you get closer to casting your vote every Sunday on ABC.
Who was John Lennon?
Magical,
brilliant, daring, rebel,
a working class.
In this election will be black voters.
Welcome back to our town hall with Joe Biden. We're going to get a question now from Cedric Humphrey. He's a student from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, progressive Democrat.
Don't jump, Cedric. You look like you're way up there.
Okay. Thank you, George. And good evening, former Vice President Biden. Many people believe that the true swing demographic in this election will be black voters under the age of 30. Not because they'll be voting for Trump, but because they won't vote at all. I myself have had this exact same conflict. So my question for you then is, besides you ain't black, what do you have to say to young black voters who see voting for you as further participation in a system that continually fails to protect?
Wait. Glad to hear Destiny's response to the criticism of Nancy, but I don't really find it convincing. Even if sending things to McConnell usually doesn't help, now all eyes are on it, plus people need help. No, well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that she just sent like a 1.8 trillion bill off to his desk that he didn't look at. But this House has passed like a record amount of legislation that's been passed through the House. The Senate just doesn't look at it, but I don't think people know that. Like, look at how many, for instance, look how many woke dipshit, I don't want to say progressives, lefties, like commies or socialists on Twitter, these white suburban kids, okay, that talk about how fucking woke they are to socialism and shit. Look at how many of them criticize Nancy for getting nothing done. House pass legislation. Dude, the House has passed so much legislation. I don't know if I can find like a news. Fuck. I had better sources of this, or I'm not going to be able to find anything, but like the House has passed so much legislation over the past legislative session. It's been unbelievable, but all of it dies in the Senate. Like, yeah, literally no one knows that. Yeah, everybody says that like Nancy Pelosi's doing nothing, but that's just not true. How do you make sure the Senate actually does something? You have to win the Senate, right? Republicans aren't going to hear any of the legislation because they're not going to pass any of it. So yeah, you have to win the Senate.
protect them?
Well, I say, first of all, as my buddy John Lewis said, it's a sacred opportunity and right to vote. You can make a difference. If young black women and men vote, you can determine the outcome of this election. Not a joke. You can do that. Now, the next question is, am I worthy of your vote? Can I earn your vote? And the answer is, there's two things I think that I care, and I've demonstrated I care about my whole career. One is, in addition to dealing with a criminal justice system to make it fair and make it more decent, we have to be able to put black Americans in a position to be able to gain wealth, generate wealth. And so you look at what that entails. It entails everything from early education. That's why I'm supporting making sure that we in Title I schools, as you know, schools with the least tax base to be able to support their schools. I increased the funding for them from $15 to $45 billion. That allows every teacher in that school to make up to $60,000. And the problem now is they're leaving the schools. They're not there. We're short about 1.5 million teachers, 1.25 million teachers. Number two, every 3-, 4-, and 5-year-old will go to school, not daycare, school. And what all the great universities, including the one you've gone to, or went to, in fact, talks about in the last 8 years, what's happened. What happens when you let them go to school, they make up rapidly whatever shortcoming they had in terms of their education prior to that. They have not heard as many words spoken, et cetera, et cetera. What happens is that the studies show that 58% will increase by 58% their chance of going all through 12 years of school and going through successfully. We'll also provide for the ability to bring in social workers and school psychologists. We have one school psychologist in America now for every 1,507 kids. It should be 1 to 500, not just in schools that are poor, but in all schools. Because we learned that, for example, drug abuse doesn't cause mental illness. Mental illness causes drug abuse, the failure to get hold of people and deal with their anxieties. In addition to that, I provide for $70 billion for HBCUs for them to be able to have the wherewithal to do what other universities can do because they don't have the kind of...
I do not know how I feel about HBCUs. I've never heard a convincing argument for them. They seem like really dumb, but I don't know. But every time I kind of say that, I feel like people say that, no, HBCUs have an important purpose in America. I don't know. I just don't have a strong opinion on them. I haven't looked into them enough, I guess. It's historically black colleges and universities, right? That's what it stands for, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What are they? I think they're like historically black colleges and universities. I think anybody of any race can go there, but I think they're important in black American history. I don't know. I'm not sure. No, wait. So people are saying, I feel the same way. It shouldn't be segregated, but it is. I don't believe they're segregated. I think white people can go to HBCU. But in American history, like a lot of black professionals have come out of HBCUs and everything. About them, I guess.